Good evening and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport.
Good evening and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the technical issues we have been suffering once again earlier this evening. Dan has managed to get on to do the Streamlabs for us. Internet issues have been plaguing me for the last week or so in the local area, so hopefully that'll be sorted for tomorrow night. They assured me on the phone earlier it would. But we are here for the second half now of the season, Mount Panorama Bathurst. Early morning race, we're going to see that sunrise over the top of the mountain. It looked beautiful in the M2s last night, and it should be an absolutely beautiful event here in Australia today. I'm Mathew Duffin, joined in the box once again with Glenn Langley, whatever you want to call him, Langers, as he's known to by us. Good evening, Langers. Welcome back to the commentary box. It's going to be an interesting race tonight, isn't it? It's going to be one of them that anything could happen, I think, here.
Yeah, for sure. Bathurst is one of those tracks where it's survival first, then it's pace second. Survival will be the name of the game tonight. As you said last night, it was actually pretty clean all throughout. Not too many incidents up and down the mountain. Say again, Dan? Not too many incidents up and down the mountain. I don't think we'll see the same tonight, but hopefully we do see a little bit of the same. Yeah, we got wider cars, faster cars, shorter braking zones, faster corners, now that we have moved into the GT3 cars. So I do expect a few more incidents tonight, but yeah, survival is the name of the game around Bathurst.
Yeah, it is the name of the game, and we'll see what we can get out of these drivers in this one. Sorry, I've just remembered that I've left an echo possibly on my stream, so I've just seen the chat and hopefully sorted that one on my end. It is going to be an interesting one. It is going to be the name of the game of survival. Pace isn't always the best thing to have around here, especially in this Pro-Am category where we know dramas can happen at any moment. It could be about just getting up and down the mountain. The championship standings, though, look very interesting at the moment. Unless you're the championship leaders, then it's pretty straightforward. Benny Volga's got a 114-point lead in this championship over that of Lino at the moment. Benny Volga's just been fantastic, as we've said every week. Williams, though, just a few points behind Lino. He's in third place. Wolski's fourth, not far from him. Then it's Unsworth and Argent. They're not here tonight. So a chance for the likes of Gabino, Leach, Millington, De Block to maybe get into towards that top five section of this championship. Taylor's in 11th with Hunt, Dronelander, Peckman, Brian Craig. Then it's Sam Greaves, Paul Williams, Neil Broom, Jamie Lee, Michael Johnson, Old Sim not here tonight, Stofford, Wainwright, Waste, Kelly Davis, Diego Flores, and Alistair Cummins. The Stofford and Wainwright one, I'm really interested to see what they can do. They both had a drop score of 0 from missing their first races when after they'd signed up. So interested to see their pace now. They had great pace last week at Silverstone, Langley, and they could be ones to start to take points away from these championship protagonists going into this back half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Benny Varga had his worst race of the season last week. Last week was his drop score. But overall, it was still a pretty competitive outing in terms of other results drivers have had. But still, I don't think we've had a week where Benny Varga's lead has actually been cut. Maybe this week is the first week. We'll see though, but he's still up there to second right now in this practice and race in 30 seconds or so. So consistency is the name of the game on top of survival, as you were saying. Pace, it's always nice to have pace around here, but are we talking one lap pace or are we talking lap over lap over lap pace as well?
Yeah.
Because you can have amazing one lap pace around here and then it can just not be, you can be in the wall the next lap. So yeah, one lap pace would be good for qualifying, but we'll see who has that consistency tonight. I see, or Benny Varga was out there putting a lot of laps end over end. There were a few other drivers I saw that were putting laps over laps together, so hopefully we get a lot of that tonight. Hopefully we get some exciting wheel-to-wheel action throughout the mountain as well. Not easy to pass, even with some of the long straights, depending on the engine variances, that is. But definitely, once you get to the mountain part, it is not easy to pass.
The Bronze Championship then, Betis in 96-point lead over Sturrock, who has hit a bit of form since Imola. That's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on his progression at the moment, with Malarex in third, only a couple of points behind Sturrock. Then it's Tucker, Ian Best not here tonight, from Privet, Atherton, Smith, Cherrymore, Simcoe, and then Page. You can see at the moment, pace looks rather good, up in fourth place at the moment for the bronze driver, new to the championship this week. The team championship is Audio Sport lead the way from 27 points clear of SimPlay Racing, and them to it then 179 points clear of Real Time Racing, and none of their drivers are here tonight, so that could be a huge advantage for them too going into the final 4 weeks of this championship. P4 in the championship then is Quantum Motorsport, again none of their drivers here, so that could allow the current defending Pro-Am Constructors champions to be knocking on the door for maybe a top 3 once again in 4Q. Then it's Sodor Racing, Black and Blue from Team Merlot, Greasy Bandits and 9 from Team Aspire, Balkan Sim Hub from SC Racing, Bearded Racing, Billy No Mates, and then the Pages Racing team of Page on his own. The Australian driver as well on home soil for this race. It's going to be an interesting one, I think, Lang, as we grid order is obviously set. 20 drivers on the grid at the moment. I believe we should have 30 overall, and we have 29. So someone is missing. Lino is at the back, so not sure what's happened there. But Lino starts from the back, so that's a glitch in the server there for him to have been dropped to the back, and that could always be caused by drivers who haven't got in on time for the start of the race. So the grid is then Flores from Wainwright with Stothard, Johnson in that lovely Nissan. There is P5 is for Lee from Broome, Williams from Greaves, then it's Brian Craig Peckman, Dronelander from Hunt with Taylor, De Block, Millington, Leach, Gabino, Wolski. There's that gap then in the grid, but from Wolski just behind him you see then Sam Williams, then it should be Benny Varga. That should be where Lino is starting, so I'm not sure why Lino is now at the back of the pack. Simcoe is then meant to be 21st from Rob Smith, who is in bronze. Then it's Privet from Tucker, from Malarex, Sturrock, Beto, Page obviously at the back as the new drivers are in their category, and then obviously Lino sadly starting last on the grid. Johnson hasn't readied up in time here as we're about to get underway. Langley, a tip for a race winner?
I have 2 inklings to either Wainwright or Stothard. I mean, they've been pretty quick overall. I mean, I am looking further down because it seems like we get someone all the time who starts way down the order that at least makes the podium. I think tip is going to go to Stothard here. But still, and we'll keep an eye on it, definitely. The likes of De Block, Millington, Leach, Wolski, Benny Varga down the pack. I still think they all have a very good chance, as long as they stay out of trouble, to be at the front come the end of this 15-minute sprint.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting one to see who's going to do what. I think it could be one of them classic races we see. Good evening to Berserker, to Fury's Grandad, Benny Varga, Gary Clarble, Peaceful Stepdad and Phil Atherton. That is the driver that is missing, not only in time for race 1 but race 2, yes. Phil, next time please try and message me so we can put you to the back of the grid so it doesn't glitch out the service. So that'll probably be why Lino is at the back. Peckman also has missed the start. No, Johnson was fine at the start, so he is good to go. Apologies, I've just received a phone call there. Langley, just talk us through his formation.
Yeah, no problem. So it is a very long formation lap around Bathurst, and we're probably not even halfway through yet. But as you can already see, the sun is starting to come up over the mountain, and we are going to be treated to some beautiful scenery here on this race 1. Very tricky for these drivers. I think this lap 1 in both races is going to be critical to the outcomes here tonight. I think the ones in front that can stay the cleanest and keep their nose clean, keep it out of the wall, keep away from contact with other drivers, are obviously going to have the best chance of winning here tonight. I saw multiple mistakes throughout practice from various different drivers, as we always do. So, yeah, I mean, we're coming down now to the bottom of the mountain to blast onto the back straight. But
yeah, we are. And picking up on what you just said, Langley, sorry, drivers have made a lot of errors and a lot of and there's an error already. That is Paul Williams, who has gone straight on at the elbow And that is, he's now waiting for the pack to go. This could teleport him back to the pit lane. He can ghost. So I'm not sure why, because that is
damage is a real thing on formation laps, although ghosting is on. So that's
work that one.
yeah.
Well, he's just stationary at the moment. This could be him being teleported back to the pit lane in the start of this race, and not the start. I wonder
if something happened to his equipment. That looked very odd, and the fact that he sat there for a little while as well.
Sooty Apex in the chat, who has been back in the headset parties today, so great to hear from Sooty. He says Gary for the win. So, I think that's a little optimistic, but you know, Gary is capable of a race win. He's won a race this season already, so let's see what he can do. Right, we're coming down towards that now of the chase before heading into Murray's corner. And then onto the start straight. So a very short start straight here. So you come out the final corner, very short start straight. And really, Langley, the way ACC works is the game. Oh, we lost Flores. I've just noticed we lost Flores. He's now back in, so he's also from the pit lane. It is all happening out there tonight.
The race hasn't even started.
The race hasn't even started. One's been in the wall. Johnson's in the pits. Peckman's missed the start, and Flores got disconnected. So it has all been kicking off tonight in this one. So this now puts Wainwright on the pole. And it's a short run to the line, but we're getting ready to go here for the first time this evening at Mount Panorama Bathurst. Who will take the win? Wainwright's got a lovely gap next to him, and there's a big gap behind him. Look at the way the front four in fact are starting. We're green and go here, and we're underway for the first time at Bathurst Mount Panorama, and that is Lee now up on the podium already from the start due to the fact that nobody is near him at the start. Gary's been tapped by Wolski, and round he goes. Gary Leach into the wall, so Sooty's put the curse on him there as Bettison avoids him. Lino's managed to get through the pack a little bit. He's charging down towards turn number 2 already, that of Quarry's Bend, and Wainwright got the start he needed. He got out front and away.
Yeah, Broom a little slow going into the braking zone, and Millington a little wide. Now, who can keep it the cleanest? I think we're going to see a lot more incidents tonight around this section of the track.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. As up the hill, they all come now, brushing off the wall. It looked like Steve Millington did there. That's Benny Varga on his inside. There's one of the Porsches around. It's absolute chaos, and there's a roadblock at Mount Panorama. Wolski's bouncing along after he's hit the Porsche. It is chaos at the mountain. Dramas down the order. There is a lot of cars waiting to get moving, and they just cannot go anywhere. Paul Williams hasn't started this race, and the Nissan of Michael Johnson is going down the back of the pack. I can't stop saying Nissan for some reason. I'm putting that one on you, Langers. But James Wainwright out front has got the start he needs. Him, Stothard and Lee have all got away nice and clean. Brian Craig's up into P5. Tyler de Block, multiple race wins he's had this season, multiple feature race wins as well this season. He's looking for another sprint race win for sure in this one. We apologise for the poor quality on the stream. Like we said, the network issues have been plaguing us, but it is not lagging, so you can just about make out the cars in this one at the moment. This hopefully will be sorted for tomorrow. We do apologise once again as De Block looking on the back of Brian Craig then. Now up to the inside as they come in towards the chase. To block up the inside, Brian Craig gives him plenty of room and respect. To block moves up into P4. We've got Taylor, who's got Hunt chasing him down. Millington's up to 9th. Broom is now running in 10th place. And Benny Varga, look, big damage on the front of that BMW at the end of lap 1. He normally likes to pit at the end of lap 1. Is he going to box? Yes, he is, as does Williams. Simcoe stays out. He's your leader in the bronze category at the moment. Then it's Gabino, Tucker, Sturrock, Rob Smith into the pits. Lino will pass him, so will Page and Privet. Gary Leach in with damage. Greaves in with damage. Bettison's just into the pit lane as well. And Beto going side by side. The Nissan there of Michael Johnson going side by side with Flores. Through he goes. Moves up another place. That Nissan will be a powerful car down the back straight this evening. But Stothard out front trying to put the pressure back on Wainwright, who got the fastest lap after that one and leads this race currently.
Yeah, I think that incident all stemmed from the battle. I believe it was Greaves and Dronelander, I believe. Yeah, the red Ferrari was up the inside. It was kind of like awkward contact more than anything, but it just caused a chain reaction to that pile up there. And you can't. It's a blind corner coming over the crest. You're turning to the left, going up the hill. So once you get around the corner, you see a car sideways, there's not much time to react at all.
This is the view on board. Lino chasing down Simcoe's third in bronze now. Tucker out to lead. Tucker leads in bronze. And this is the view of Lino's cars. Just see the multiple cars in front of him. The sun rising over the crest of the hill. That's going to be worse in the feature race for the hour one. It's going to be a bit more prominent. It's light cloud here today, so shouldn't be as bad as the M2s, but it will still be there, just glaring through the driver's windscreen there on the back of Lino's Page, pushing through. You can see Simcoe having a look on the back of Sturrock now, trying to make the move done. Can't do it, gets a wiggle out the final corner. Stoffard not letting Wainwright get away here. He's got gaps half a second, and the drivers have all done their first pit stops, apart from Greaves. Paul Williams has sadly had to disconnect from the service. That won't go down as a retirement. He technically never started this race, but what a chaotic start here at Mount Panorama.
Yeah, I think De Block has a really good chance at winning this race. I mean, he was one of those ones that started all the way down the pack and somehow finished the first lap in P4 or P5, one of the two, and now he's in P4. I think he has a great chance if he can get by Lee here. I know it's a 5-second gap, but those two out front are pretty quick though, so that'd be a pretty hefty gap to close down in just a handful of laps.
Would indeed. We're coming on board with Tucker fending off that of Sturrock at the moment for the lead in the bronze category here tonight, and this is going to be a crucial one for these drivers to get absolutely bang on and right, because these drivers can take big points out of that championship deficit of Richard Bettison's at the moment, as can the silver drivers over Benny Varga. He had big damage. He's down only in 21st, and overtaking very difficult here, so it's just going to cause a bit of a disaster for him. Paul Williams in the Discord chat has just tagged the admins in something. Wheel and pedals are knackered. Reset numerous times, but only getting 50% input at best. So it was a wheel issue. Langley was spot on with what you said there.
It just looked very awkward, and I would have thought it was an actual mistake if he had not sat there for multiple seconds on end after it happened, trying to figure out what happened. So that's what gave me the inkling for that. But yeah, we got a fight out front with Stothard and Wainwright. Only about a half second now going in to the probably the heaviest braking zone on this track. Yeah, other than that first lap pileup, looks so far pretty clean. Other than that, but it has spread out the pack quite a lot.
Yeah, it has spread out the pack. We'll see on what the pack does for a pit stop here. It's only a shorter pit stop at Bathurst. It's not a very long pit lane, so you're not in the pits for too long in terms of if you was to get a drive-through penalty. You're only going to lose 19 seconds. It's 54 seconds for a tyre change pit stop. If you're not changing tyres and just doing the 25-second stop, that'll cost you 49 seconds around this track. De Block, look, already within half a second of the back of Jamie Lee now for that podium spot here. And as we drop down the order, Peckman, who is pretty close to the back of Simcoe, but they're both, in fact, Peckman's past Simcoe as they enter the pit lane then. So out front at the moment, it is going the way of Wainwright, but he's got that black and green Porsche just looking on the back of him here to try and have a sniff of an opportunity. Rob Smith, yellow flag in the pits. That must mean he's returned to the pit lane. Benny Varga's now up to 17th. So keep your eye on his progression. Keep your eye on the Lexus of Richard Bettison. He's 23rd. And Sturrock, the man, is the man to watch over him. Gabino's on the back of Sturrock now, who's still chasing down that of Mark Tucker in this fight for 8th, 9th and 10th place in this race so far. But at the minute, your two leaders putting on an expedition out front in a masterclass in how to get around Bathurst. I'm sure the pro drivers will show us a bit more of that tomorrow night. As down the hill they drop, once again in towards the elbow they come now for Wainwright and Stoffard. The bonus the Ferrari's got over the Porsche, it's a very long back straight, and that should allow that Ferrari to just creep away from Stoffard on this section of the circuit.
Yeah, the Ferrari isn't the greatest car in a straight line, but the Porsche is probably one of the worst cars in a straight line. Although, being in the slipstream, it's looking like it's kind of negating just a little bit. But, yeah, if I was Stothard right now, I'd be debating about pitting. And, oh, and he's dropped it! Stothard's dropped it out of the chicane. And that's he keeps it out the wall, gets it going again, has not lost a position, I believe. Close to, though.
Just gone back to the Jamie Lee and Tyler De Block fight. They were side by side coming down the straight, as you said. That saw the yellow flag. and he's pulled it straight into the pits. That seems like the chance of the race being gone for him now, because Wainwright, barring any mistakes, although if you look at Wainwright already, then we look at that track map, Wainwright's gaining on the traffic.
Yeah, that's the effect of the field being spread from that incident. Dronelander, the first to pit, is exiting the mountain bit from the bottom of the hill, but the 5, 6, 7 of, I believe that is Simcoe, is going up the mountain right now. That's the field spread from that incident that's happened. So 74 out front is the first to pit, and 5, 6, 7 who has pitted. Bar Rob Smith, who is in the pits. That's a massive gap, so yeah, that's bringing him into play.
Sorry, Langley, Tyler de Block very wide coming through that of turn 3, the cutting, and he just got on the marbles, lost the rear, managed to hold on to it though and kept himself going. Stothard got fastest lap. He is coming out the pit lane now, and will only drop to P9 due to the fact that Sturrock and Flores have both pitted, so he's coming out in P9. That's not a bad place for him, and if you look at that track map, in fact, has he? No, he's been overtaken by Dronelander, so he's P10, yep. So that mistake has cost him massively. I was going to say he's going to have a clear road ahead of him, but Dronelander, look at the space he's got of clean air compared to the race leader, who's, what, about 6 or 7, maybe even 10 seconds off the back of that of the 5, 6, 7 of Simcoe. Yeah,
and that also tells me that the likes of Lee and de Block are going to be very close to Dronelander when they come out the pits as well.
Race here out the pit lane is Sturrock, and he's side by side with Malarex. These two are second and third in the Bronze Championship, going side by side as they come down towards turn number 2 of Quarry Bend. Sturrock on the outside, can he brave it around there? Malarex just hit the curb a little bit, that's put Sturrock a little bit wider. This could give Sam Williams the chance to come past Sturrock. He's going to be on the outside line, coming through the long left-hander. Sturrock will be on that inside, can he brave it around the outside? Sam Williams, leader in the Constructors for the Audio Sport team, and third in the Silver Championship, so a huge task for him. They're still going side by side up the mountain, and Sturrock yields, does not want to go side by side there, and that was absolute brilliant driving, and it would have been a great move had they both carried on going through. Sam Williams moves up then into that P17 place. He's still behind Benny Varga though, who's managed, after all his damage, he didn't repair the damage, I'm looking at his car now, so he's driving with a wounded car. That'll be hurting him in a straight line. Gabino and Wolski now in the pits, and de Block still behind Jamie Lee. I think the race wind's slowly slipping away with 4 minutes to go. He's way behind Wainwright. He needs a miracle if he is to win this race. He cannot get past the McLaren of Jamie, who's just not putting a foot wrong in this race so far. But de Block he won't mind this at all, Langley, will he? Because at the moment, he's picking up the points he needs to.
Exactly. That was some great racing between Williams and Sturrock. Great respect, great space given. I mean, either one of them could have run out of patience and then they would have both ended in tears. So, yeah, that was some great racing we both saw there. And Williams is now closing up on the back of Malarex. Lee and de Block, yeah. Oh, de Block's at the wall hard. I just switched back over and he's clipped the inside walls going down the mountain, and he punted him into the outside wall, so he now has some, I don't know if it's severe damage on that McLaren, but that will not help him.
It won't help him at all. We didn't see that. We was on board with Hunt, who's got past that of Stothard, so Stothard's lost another position in this race. Lino is now getting onto the back of Benny Varga. These two are your top two in that silver category, so Lino will want to get past Benny here. Benny's fighting with a wounded car, remember, in this race. Further down, Williams on the back of Malarex, still got Sturrock within a second. Peckman is on the back of Flores. Bettison's there, so at the minute, Malarex and Sturrock taking points off of Bettison in this race. Where are we? Wainwright's now into the pit lane. Stothard, he's still on the back of Hunt, but he's just not able to stick with him as nice as he'd have wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. Lee and de Block both in the pits now, so we'll see where they blend out in terms of where Dronelander is. Dronelander's had a decent race, gotten a little bit of that incident, kind of left the chaos behind him. It seemed like, it didn't really look, I'd have to see it back. I wouldn't really say it was his fault off of first instinct, but it was just kind of a tight corner, and they door banged. One lost it, one didn't. So, yeah, we'll see where they come out in terms of Dronelander. And Benny Varga, is he being put under some pressure now from, is that Lino? Lino goes by Benny Varga, yeah. And that's the damage, as you pointed out earlier, on his cars. So he's just trying to get home right now.
And he's going to lose all aero performance in that BMW on the front. The top speed's going to be down. He's not going to be feeling the full effects. Taylor and the top 5 complete their pit stops. Where's Dronelander going to come out compared to these guys? Well, he's nowhere near the back of Wainwright, but Dronelander is up into second place and carrying on his merry way. Lee comes out the pits in P3 just ahead of Hunt. Hunt having a look, though, down the first straight towards turn 2. He's got alongside, I think, rear axle to rear axle there. He's going to be up the inside. No, backs out of that one. And Lee runs a little wide. Hunt no touch the curve. That's compromised his run. Stofford there all over the exit curve. Gets a bit twitchy. Keeps it out the wall at the moment. And this is now a flight to the line. Apologies again for the buffering in the stream. Again, network issues in the local area is what is causing these issues. I've managed to pinpoint it down to that at least. But Lino, huge points for him over Benny Varga. I say huge, only a couple. Benny's got to, in fact, Benny's now actually been, Lino's jumped Andrew Taylor, so Benny's got Andrew Taylor between him and his championship rivals. So that'll be good for points for Lino in that one. And in terms of Page looks like he's going to get a race win on his debut in that bronze category. So a good stat for him to have already to his name in this one, as Tucker trying to hold on to second place from Sturrock from Malarex. If Sturrock was able to somehow find a way past Tucker, that'll put him a few more cars ahead of Bettison. Bettison's well down the order at the moment, coming towards the final couple of corners in this first sprint race. I'll tell you what, we've got a fight on our hands for this second place, but again, that McLaren just using its superior straight line speed over the Porsche to pull away of Jamie Lee in that machinery. Yellow flag, who's that? That is the 566. That is Benny Varga, who's in the wall at the elbow. He's got a big queue of cars hunting him down, but the race winner for race number 1, he won in the feature race last time out. Wainwright is going to take another race win here. Great start for him in this Bathurst race tonight. Dronelander in second place. Jamie Lee's going to hang on in there for a solid P3 for him. Hunt in 4th, Stoffard P5 with the race win. With the fastest lap, Wolski is P6. From then, Tyler de Block in 7th place. That spin's really cost him in this race. Lino crossed the line at P8. He got ahead of Brian Craig. Then it's Andrew Taylor. Page then 11th. Is Benny Varga P12? He is. And only just. So Benny Varga's lost 2 more places in this race to Lino. Cabino 13th. Millington will cross the line in P14. From then that of Sturrock, who is second place in bronze. From Flores, Williams, Malarex, Bettison, and down the order. Bettison actually got Tucker, so something happened to Tucker in that race. So
Tucker lost it at the elbow.
There
going
we go.
On
So
the
that's
back straight.
because Bettison has gained back there. Peckman is going to finish 21st ahead of Broom. From Gary Leach, who has a big moment coming out the final corner. He comes across the line from Privet. And then Simcoe, I haven't seen Millington. Has Millington crossed the line? I've not
Simcoe and Greaves are having a battle into the final corner.
Yeah, indeed they are. Greaves right around the outside. Simcoe's got a lot of damage, and Simcoe's going to send one up the inside, taps the rear of Greaves, and then nearly taps him again. And that's going to be Greaves, who will be feeling very aggrieved at that one. That move was done for him. Simcoe 25th from Greaves in 26th, and then Rob Smith. I don't know if Steve Millington had a disconnection there as well, because I didn't see his name across the line there, Langley.
Yeah, I know he's been having internet issues as well, or he was having pretty recently. So, yeah, that's the only thing I could think of for that. So, yeah.
Oh, no, Millington was 14th. Apologies, Millington was 14th. Yeah, so we just missed him.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, apologies, Steve.
New bronze winner, Sturrock in 2nd again, and Malarex in P3, closing that gap to Beto, who is leading the bronze championship. I've enjoyed keeping an eye on that, on top of the overall championship in the with the silver class.
Indeed. We'll be right back in a few moments' time. Make sure you get yourself a drink and maybe have a toilet break, and we'll be back. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport after race 1 of the evening, which was as chaotic as can be. It's not a massive change on the championship, but the gaps have definitely come down. We've gone board with Greaves due to him being the first one out on the track. 6 AM in the morning here in qualifying. You can just see the sun starting to rise. It's getting a little lighter. Artificial light still taking over the circuit at the moment. But the championship's over. Benny Varga's lost 20 odd points to Lino, so over 120, now 102. So he's still got a commanding lead. Lino pulls further away from Williams as well. Wolski's in 4th. He's dropped a bit further back. Gabino and Millington de Block all move up into 5th, 6th and 7th as Greaves there has absolutely just stacked it into the wall, so we'll probably pick up that of the 94, which is Sam Williams, because Greaves will probably picked. Unsworth is 8th from Gary Leach 9th, Andrew Taylor's 10th from Hunt, Dronelander, Argent, Brian Craig, Jamie Lee up into 15th now, so good drive from him to score some points. Peckman from Greaves, Broom, Williams, Johnson, Stoffard, Olsen, Wainwright, Flores, Wakes, Davis and then Cummins. Obviously this is pre-drop score, so I forget to work them out while Langley just refused at the end. And in the bronze category then, it's only 88 points separating Sturrock and Bettison in that championship, so he's brought the gap down quite a lot as well. Sturrock, Malarek still in P304 behind, Tucker's in 457. That was his chance there, while he was second in bronze, to maybe just close the gap a little bit as well, but couldn't do so. Privet up to 5th ahead of Ian Best. Phil Atherton, Rob Smith, Cherry Moore, Simcoe and Page at the bottom. And in the team championship, Audio Sport 51 clear of SimPlay Racing and 216 clear of 4Q Motorsport. And so still a 2-horse race with 4 weeks left, 4 weeks and a race left to go in this championship. And you do feel that 4Q have just got to start to outscore them every week by a good margin to get themselves back in this. They have moved up to 3rd, Real Time Racing down to 4th, Sodor Racing up to 5th ahead of Quantum, Team Merlot, Greasy Bandits, Black and Blue, Team Spire, Bolton Simple, SC Racing, Bearded Racing, Billy Newlands and the Pages Racing Team. So drop scores will be calculated while having chats to a few of the drivers at the end. But already, Langley, we saw dramas on the opening race here, and it was all as they started to come up the mountain, a huge pile up of cars as Gary Leach now pulling right out the way up the mountain. That would have just distracted Sam a little bit as Ron Bourne was in.
Yeah, for sure. It's when you get two drivers or racers in this instance that don't want to yield. Usually that doesn't end up well. So, and I think we're going to see quite a few drivers stacking it, as you said. Yeah. In this qualifying session, because you're pushing even harder than you would in a regular race. So we already saw Sam hit the wall on his outlap, but he stayed out there because I think he wants to put a banker in it at least. Because it's a very long track to get around, a little over 2 minutes, so you're not going to have that many laps anyway. And yeah, that sprint race flew by. I was like, wow, 7 laps? Yeah, I guess so. and
qualifying here, Lang, is going to be important, isn't it? Because, like you said, it's a long lap anyway, just over 2 minutes. But because you've got to be cautious with them walls and not invalidating them when you invalidate the lap too hard, you've really got to make sure you're nailing the laps you set that are valid. You've got to make sure that the bankers are good ones, that you can get some respectable times in. And Sam goes and does a 2:02.4 out the gate, pretty impressive there. Let's go pick up the number 3 of Brian Craig, 4 seconds off. And this is what you was on about, Langley, isn't it? Look at the time difference already from Sam to even Hunt. 2.2 seconds. That is a huge gap considering the time. Look at the gap to Benny Volker, indeed.
Yeah, that'd be a confidence gap, as I would call it. So once you get more laps around here, you get more confident. You get more confidence, you push the limits a bit harder. You get closer to the walls. You gain a little more lap time. Like I was telling you, I have never driven this track on pad or controller before. So first couple laps around here, 2:06s, which is around where Smith and Craig is right now. And then I had to keep doing laps and knock down the time gradually. But yeah, I mean, look at Sturrock, P2 ahead of Benny Varga, 8/10 off of Sam. That's amazing time right there. Wainwright pips him into P2, but still, great time from him.
Great bit of pace from the Mercedes driver, and we've said it, haven't we? He's gone from strength to strength all season. At the moment, the 53 is coming to the line. That's Phil Atherton, who goes up into 14th. The 888 of Broom coming towards the line in the Honda NSX. What will he do? He goes up, sets an invalid one, so no time for him there. The 473. That is, as I'm trying to find the number, that is Jamie Lee. No time set for him as well. The 180, Paul Williams back in. So must have had a bit of a hard reset of the software, and he's managed to get it all working. He's back in. The 84 of the block, yellow flag. He's possibly backing off to push for another lap. There's a car ahead of Sam Williams. Now, this will be hurting him at the moment. That looks like it's the 13. That is Page, who is on their first lap. Page, in practice, had a pretty respectable time. Was up in P4, so let's see what Page can do.
I'm watching Sam right now as well. It looks like he was a second up on his time, so he's just absolutely...
He's
smashed the rest of the field. Yeah,
he has absolutely came to play today as Sam in this one. Hunt towards the line. He goes P8. Gary Leach is up into P3. Not a bad banker for Gary Leach. What about Benny Varga? Well, improves, finds 1.1 seconds, but still a second off the back of Sam. That's how good Sam's lap time was on his opener. Mark Tucker to the line. He moves up into the top 10 now, so lap time's coming in, the 96 on a lap. That is Sam Greaves, doesn't put one in. What about the 555 of Sturrock, who is so far sat in P5 to the line, improves and goes into third place. Sturrock has come to play as well. Wolski, 2.3 off the back of Sam. Well, that'll be invalidated as he's off track and in the wall, so that has put to bed any lap time that Wolski would have got there. The 311 coming to the line, that is Bettison. Now, no, it's not Bettison, sorry, because it's not the 311. It was, I've just pressed the wrong one. It was Tucker. Peckman, sorry, who went up the order a little bit. Andrew Taylor's done a lap. Wainwright's within a second as he goes back up to second place in this one. Andrew Taylor, where did his lap time put him? Can't quite see. We've got 63 coming to the end of the lap. And for how long this circuit is, we're still struggling to find out who to see across the line because they're all still pretty much together. The 888 on a lap time. This could be Broom. Is this going to be his first flying lap of the session in this qualifying session already? Was there any qualifying bans? Just going to take a look at that one to remind you who would have been on a qualifying ban tonight. There is none. There are no qualifying bans at all, so everybody is free to qualify in this race so far. And Broom went up into 16th place. Where's the 84? They're on an invalid one, so we'll find the 13, who is that of Page, who is currently second in the bronze qualifying so far. 1.3 off the back of Sturrock, and that is a heck of a lap time from Sturrock. But Page has got a pretty good clear track in front of them to try and put a lap time on the board. Finds half a second, moves up to 7th ahead of Stothard. The 94 of Sam to the line. No improvement that time. What about Brian Craig in his Lamborghini? Can he find another bit of pace? He's 3.6 off the back. He needs a good couple of seconds here. He only finds 7/10, puts him up to P12 at the moment. Let's go and find the 23 as Benny Varga goes second now. We're only 8/10 off the back of Sam. I think Sam could probably put that in the pits and leave that one for the rest of the session. I don't think that one's going to be beaten. Tucker stays 13th. The 555 of Sturrock only needs 2 temps to be on the front row of the grid. It could be the silver leader and the bronze leader on the front row. Sturrock does do that and makes it the silver and the bronze class leaders on the front row of the grid with 6 minutes to go, Langley.
Wow, I mean, a 201's a great time for Pro-Am, Paul. I mean, to do low 201s that's something else right there that Sam has done on that lap. And Sturrock, I mean, since Imola, I have no words. Absolutely brilliant driving, brilliant pace.
If you look where Bettison is at the moment, that could be a huge haul of points if results was to stay in a similar fashion at the moment in the feature race.
Yeah, exactly. And that gap has been slowly coming down week after week from... I know Sturrock, or the overall championship gap, actually grew for a couple weeks because Sturrock was not second. Well, now it's closing more and more. Every race we do, I think it's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, I think you could be right. I'm trying to find the 13. That is Page, who is P8 at the moment, 1.8 off the pole. To block in the pit lane, he's going to want to come out, but the problem is there's a lot of traffic coming, so if the block comes out the pits, he's got to find a suitable place to slot in to set a good lap time. At the moment, Flores and Broom also in the pits. Few cars in the pits. Here comes Page to the line, improves, goes P5, What a night for the bronze drivers. Williams to the line, doesn't set an improved time there, so stays 8/10 ahead of the rest of the field. Brian Craig now next up. What can he do in his lap? We've got one of the Porsches of Greaves or Hunt coming towards the line. Hunt goes up into P8. Benny Varga takes second place back, only by a 10th from that of Sturrock. Beto now moves into the top 10. 3 bronze in the top 10. What a qualifying session this is turning out to be. Here comes Sam Greaves. He's currently down in 17th place, jumps up to P13. What can Sturrock do? Any more time in that Mercedes? Not this time around. And Benny Varga's in the pit lane, so he's going to want to get back out on track. The 311 of Peckman. 14th place, next man to set a valid lap. What can he do in this qualifying session? Very little time for Peckman. If he finds half a second, that could take him from 14th into the top 7 as he comes to the line now and doesn't find a bit of time there. Stothard, though, moves up into 5th place, and the 5, 6, 7 down the order of Simcoe. Can he find half a second? He needs about 6/10 to move up to 15th place. What will he do as he comes to the line? Doesn't improve. The 777 of Malarex is in the wall at the final corner. This could compromise out of Privet. It won't, because Malarex managed to get it into the pit lane, and Privet moves up to 22nd. And now a big wait for car 13 of Page. 3 bronze drivers in the top 10, proving that Mount Panorama can provide any and all sorts of dramas.
Yeah, and I think it probably has a lot to do with practice as well, because if you put in the laps for practice, it's going to reflect this week for sure. And I think Sam's finding out how good of a lap he actually did, because he crossed the line last lap and he did a 2-minute 0.7, which is 1.4 off, which he's already done. So he's pushing out there and he can't get anywhere near his time.
Well, let's see what he can do this time around. To the line, no improvement, so he stays where he is, the car number 19. Next up is Gabino, not got a lap time on the board. Williams and Johnson will not set a qualifying lap time. They won't get round in time. Andrew Taylor also hasn't set a lap time yet, so he is down the order in this qualifying session. The 555's coming to the line once again. That is Sturrock, as Benny Varga was on his outlap, so he's now started. Possibly could get one more in. That artificial light still taking over at the moment, thanks to Berserker and Dr. Dabbing Llamas in the chat, who's watching whilst in the McDonald's drive-through. And Sturrock is going to pull that one into the pits. He will not get another lap time on the board. That's a shame. Can Wainwright take the pole position, the third place spot, sorry, away from Sturrock? Can he get on the front row? Not there. He can't. 169 of Stothard needs to find some half a second to get up onto the front row of the grid. Had good pace bars, Benedict into the wall in the first race, and no improvement for him. The 473, that is Jamie Lee, moves up to 14th place. What about the 567 of Simcoe? He improves but stays in 21st. He'll get one more run at this. Wolski now to the line. Down in 15th. Wolski in the last couple of feature races has been the man on pole. He's down in 15th at the moment. 1.9 off the pace of Sam Williams. Can Wolski get it there? He improves. That's a heck of a time. I say it's a heck of a time. He only found 6/10 of a second and went 5th. So he gained 10 places with 6/10 of a second improvement. Benny Varga had a yellow flag there. He will get one final shot at this. There's not a lot of cars out on track now, so now the gaps start to appear to get a lap time in.
Yeah, exactly. I just cannot believe the gap out in front. I'll be honest, I can't believe Sturrock right there with the silver championship leader. I mean, that is amazing out there. Great driving tonight. I think the drivers who put in the laps this week are reaping the benefits right now.
You can tell who's done the testing, can't you, around a circuit like this, to find every bit of limit they can, as Andrew Taylor puts a lap time in on the board. 23rd for him. The 313, that's Gary Leach about to put a time on the board, is he? No, that must have been his outlap. The 68 puts one in. Can't see the 68 on the timing tower. He's there. Sorry, it's Hunt in 11th place. Dronelander starts his last lap. The 680 then of Gabino, who Lino, sorry, is down in 13th place. He's actually going to bail to the pit lane, so he's not going to do another lap in this qualifying session. And then we've got the 62 of Wainwright, first man to finish qualifying on the track. Has he found an improvement? I dread to think at this stage of qualifying you'd have probably pulled it into the pits if you can't improve. He does, goes up into P3, knocking Sturrock down to 4th. Great job from Sturrock though in this one. Can Stothard find any time? Needs 4/10 to get up onto that third place. No, only goes P number 5, the 473 of Jamie Lee. Can he find any more time? He does, up into P number 6 at the moment, the 567 of Simcoe. Can he find any time? He does, moves up into 17th, so the time's starting to come down a little bit now. Wolskew jumped from 15th to 5th on the last lap. He's now dropped to 7th, thanks to Stothard and Lee. Can he get any more time out of this lap? He can, moves up to P6, the 84. It says he's on an invalid lap. That may be De Block's out. We'll keep an eye on it. De Block moves up to 7th now. The 566 of Benny Varga. Williams is done. Has Benny Varga got enough in the tank to find 7.5/10? No, he hasn't. Doesn't improve. Rob Smith in the Honda now towards the line. 4.3 off the back of the leader. He's a bit off. He's probably about 4 seconds off the back of the bronze leader. Finds a bit of time. Finds a second near enough. Moves up to 24th. Gary Leach, next man to the line, down in 11th place. Can he find the time to get in that top 10? He only needs a 1/10 of a second to break into the top 10. A good 6/10 here. Could see him move all the way up into 6th place. Has he found any more than that? Through the final corner he goes. We have then got Hunt just behind him, about set of time. And the 74 of Dronelander. Gary Leach moves up into 9th. Can Hunt direct that for him? Yes, he can, because Hunt goes into 8th. And Dronelander at the very end. Where did he go? P4. So Dronelander left it late and went 4th.
Massive jump for him. Much at the end. Where was he? P17? That area. That's a massive jump for him. Everyone who was out on track at the end there was improving. So, yeah, that was a great qualifying session. I mean, hats off to Sam. Only driver in the 2-minute ones by a margin.
Yeah.
By a margin. And look at this. I didn't mention it much for the first race. This beautiful sunrise. I mean, you see the mountains in the back as well. It is just absolute scene. It's a bucket list place to go to for sure for any racing fan.
Yeah, gorgeous place, gorgeous scenery to come. My brother had the privilege of going to the Bathurst 1000 last month, and he says if you want to do it because it's brilliant place to go. He says it's fantastic as a spectator to watch. So if you haven't done it, do it, because it's one of the best racetracks he says he's ever been to. Not that he's done many, but yeah, I think it's one that you've got to put on. Whether it's the 12-hour of Bathurst or the Bathurst 1000, I think it's one you've got to always have a look at. Paul Williams didn't qualify, did he? No, he was 30th. Michael Johnson down in 29th. Peckman, where was Peckman? In 17th. We've just been told by our producer Dan Davis tonight that the Bathurst 1000 had one of the greatest races of all time. I saw clips that Dan had sent me, and it looked a spicy race, to say the least. The wet weather, I think, provided the entertainment there. The driver in 15th went on to win the race, we're being told. So there we go. Bathurst can always.
So is that good omen for Lino?
Well, that was mixed conditions. It was wet in the Bathurst 1000. I think the thing here is, is that good omen for Lino?
But it's Bathurst.
It is Bathurst, and we know what Sam Williams race 2 has been like for Sam Williams, don't we? So hopefully he's got rid of them demons in race number 2, and hopefully he can put this one on the top step, because he's had the pace, hasn't he, all season, Langley, but he just hasn't had the race 2 fortune, I'd say, of what his pace has shown.
Yeah, and I mean, is this his time? Is it his time finally to, as you said, shake off the demons, to put the race together, put the laps in, keep it out the wall, keep it clean? Is it his time finally to capture a feature race win this season, which would also, correct me if I'm wrong, make it 6 feature races 5. With 6, is it 5? Sorry, yeah, 5 feature races with 5 different winners.
Actually, let me get back to you on that one in a moment. I'm just going to input the points for pole position for the bronze and the silver.
No, it would be 6. It would be 6. This is round 6, so yeah, we've had 5 for 5 already. So if Sam wins, it would be 6 for 6 in terms of different feature race winners this season.
So
we only have 10 rounds.
Exactly. So feature race at the moment, Benny Varga, Lino. Then it was... I can't actually see a race with
Sano.
Yeah. Oh, that was Jimenez.
Yes.
Who won that race. Imola went the way of Leach in the feature, and Silverstone was to block. So yeah, we're 5 from 5. So we could be, like you say, 6 from 6. You know, Wainwright actually didn't
anyone in the top 7, bar Benny Varga, could actually do it. So.
Well, Wainwright's not won a sprint race because he got second. He lost out to the block last week. Dronelander's not won a race yet. Sturrock, imagine the bronze driver taking an overall race win.
Oh my goodness!
A category race win, an overall race win. That would be huge. That would be a different
the champagne
race
bottles.
It would indeed. The only reason we say a different race winner for Sturrock, obviously he wins races for finishing in bronze, but because the points are classified as overall, he would take the overall race win points, not the points for where he finishes. So yes, he gets a race win for winning in bronze, but he gets the points for where he finishes overall. So that'd be huge. But like I say, Stothard as well, Wolski to block, Hunt. And then you've even got the likes of Leach in P11, who's capable of winning a race. Lino in 15th place, he's pretty capable of taking a race win. And I'm just looking at who else is possibly out of position. Steve, depending on how much dramas could happen, he could possibly take a race win. You know, it could be interesting. Who's your money on though, Langley?
You know what? Benny Varga.
I
have my reasons.
Want to say Sam Williams and give him the commentator's curse?
No comment. But Benny Varga for this one. And if you know why I'm saying that.
That is 100%, as I'm just starting the poll there, that is 100% purely to not put the commentator's curse on Sam. I think it's very hard to pick a race winner in this one. Do you know what? I'm going to look at Dronelander. I think his race one, he had good pace. I think Wainwright did the job by being in the lead. Dronelander had great pace to jump everybody for second place with his pit stop strategy. So I'm going Dronelander. Tyres may not be much of an issue tonight. 10 degrees track temp, early morning. You don't really use them too much going up and down the mountain because you can look after them a little bit more. So tyres could be, you know, you could save yourself 5 seconds in a pit stop here. We'll see what people do in this race. And let's wait and see. Benny Varga in the BMW on the left of screen. Sam Williams in the McLaren on the right of screen. It's Sam who's on pole from the 2 Ferraris, and then your bronze pole leader of Sturrock, P5. We are green and go here for round number 12 of the season. Benny Varga gets a great start down towards turn number 1. On the brakes, round the outside. Benny Varga leads already at the start. A little bit too cautious maybe from Sam. Wainwright stays third. Sturrock putting the pressure on Dronelander as Stothard and Wolski side by side coming down towards turn number 2. That of Quarry Bend.
Sam's getting back at him though.
Is it?
Around the outside.
We'll back to Sam. And Varga at the lead. Here we go. Sam round the outside into Quarry Bend. Leaves Varga just enough space. Has Sam got it done? He's drifted wide. He's hit the wall. And Sam, the demons have crept in at the start. And he's dropped behind that of Wainwright. Possibly Dronelander as well, who's just got a nose on the inside. He's tapped Dronelander round. And Dronelander manages to recover. But Sturrock gets through. Wolski did get past Stothard. Leach and De Block are going side by side a little further down as well. And Leach gets that one done. But Williams and Dronelander making contact. And Williams has lost out 4 places.
Yeah, I really couldn't see if anyone was at fault there. Dronelander in the wall hard. On the inside now. He bounced into the inside wall. I believe that was Dronelander. It was a red Ferrari.
Yeah, it is.
Ferrari down the field. Yeah, massive damage. It has to be on that Ferrari now.
Well, this is now the chance for Benny Varga to extend that championship lead. His closest rival is down in 15th place at the moment, and he is in the lead of this one. It's Varga from Wainwright.
Wainwright
going side by side with Sam. Yeah, he's got big damage on the right-hand side of his car there. A bit on the rear and a bit on the front as well, but the main damage on the side of his car. He's hit a wall somewhere up and down the mountain, and Sam Williams breezes through into second place.
On the exit of the at the elbow, so he hit the wall on the exit there, and he loses it on the braking zone. Slides across the track, needs to hold the brakes.
So you know what that means then, now that T's gone off again. Sturrock, your bronze leader, is net podium in the race overall at the moment. And where's Bettison? 12th place for him. So it's a great day for Sturrock. Gary Leach has come from 11th and he's now sitting in P5 as he's got past Stofford. Stofford's now going side by side with a block. Dronelander into the pit lane early. There's chaos down the back of the pack. Yellow flags flying everywhere down the back. That's the 311 of Peckman, who's got a bit of damage on his car as well. So Drama's down there. But after lap 1, it's Varga 3 seconds clear of Williams. Sturrock within a second. Then Wolski, Gary Leach from Stofford. De Block now defending from Hunt. Hunt made a couple of moves around Quarry Bend in the first race. Can he do it once again? On the outside line of De Block. Will take that the marbles on the outside, and that's going to just put him on the back foot. Keeps the nose there. No, he can't. Tucks back in. Then it's Lee. Bettison's 10th from page 11th. That is second and third in bronze. There's Dronelander. Then comes Greaves, who's just been passed by Lino. So Lino's up to 12th place now. Wainwright 14th at the end of the first lap. Then Brian Craig, Cabino, Mark Tucker from Taylor, Simcoe, Flores. Dronelander in the pits, which then Privet as they all come through the first sector. Johnson from Malarex, from Smith, Millington, Phil Atherton, Paul Williams, Broom, and then Peckman. Dronelander the only car in the pits after his own mistake at the top of the mountain. But already after sector 1, Williams has took 3/10 out of Benny Varga's lead, and Sturrock took 2/10 out of Williams. So Sturrock is not afraid to go with Williams here. Wolski's dropped further back than that half a second. I tell you what, this could be anybody's race in this one. I think Sturrock could be on for an overall podium if he keeps this going.
But could he? I mean, it's hard to say it. Could he really be on for an overall win? I mean, he hasn't dropped off of Sam too much this lap. But what I was gonna say, yes, Sam was in the wall at the start, or on the exit of the corner there. But I don't think he got too much damage from it. His car looks relatively fine, relatively clean, and he is taking about a second out of Benny Varga this lap, I believe.
Yeah,
6/10.
About 6/10 at the moment. As Bettison looking around the outside of Lee. Lee just outbrakes himself on the exit of the corner. Bettison couldn't get the exit he needed in that Lexus coming down the start straight, so he's now 10th, page 11th. Gary was fending off Stofford a moment ago. He's managed to open that gap up a little bit. Lee defending heavily as well. Hunt did get past the block. There's Page following through with Bettison, as Bettison's going to have another look here up the inside. That Lexus in a straight line. We know how mighty it can be. We've seen it from Bettison and from Davis this season, and he just breezes past Lee, pulls back onto the racing line. A couple of tenths clear already. That Lexus going to be an interesting car to watch tonight and tomorrow. And Bettison up another place, and he needs these places, doesn't he? Because with Sturrock's at P3, he needs to make as many places to close that gap.
Yeah, exactly, and the consistency that Sturrock has put on this season, to not even have a scratch on that car after what happened in the top 5 on lap 1, it's unbelievable to say the least.
As we're just seeing someone in the chat there, Dave, saying, "Come on, Sam Williams, keep it on top." Dang, no, I bet on him," said Berserker. I don't know. I don't know which one that's going to be at the moment. But we'll find out. Hopefully he'll put in the chat who he decided to put his vote on. As this Stofford, he's got major damage, bonnet lifted on his car, and that is huge damage for the Porsche. He's on the inside curb at the second of the left-handers at the top of the mountain.
Oh, that's terrible.
As he rejoins, Privet's caught him. He should have stayed where he was. That's a huge unsafe rejoin. Williams hasn't really gained on Benny Varga much this lap. 2.1, so he's only gained 3 tenths. Sturrock's dropped off the back, 2.7, but he's still there. He's 2.4 clear of Wolski. Gary gaining on Wolski after their fantastic race at Imola that they had. De Block now catching up to the back of Hunt, and because of Stofford's damage, that puts Beto up to 8th. It puts only 4 cars between himself and Sturrock. That is huge for Bettison.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad rejoin. If you saw that in real life, you would probably tense up a lot harder than we did. We do at a reaction, but that was a massive impact right there.
I'm glad we don't have F1 type team radio. There's a yellow flag. That is the 96 of Sam Greaves, who's slow. He's been in the wall, it looks like, and he cannot rejoin. The cars are flying past him. I think he wants to get into the pit lane. He is, into the pits he now comes. Tucker's fending off Taylor, who had a pretty poor qualifying by his standards. He's up to 15th. He's on the back of Tucker. So Taylor trying to come through the field as best he can in this one at the moment. Lino's now on the back of Page for a top 10. as well. Williams within 1.9 of Benny Varga. We'll keep our eyes on that lead gap in this race. We've got Cabino on the back of Brian Craig, 0.4 of a second, and Taylor, like we said, closest fight. Mark Tucker, Andrew Taylor and Diego Flores at the moment. All this for 14th, 15th and 16th place.
I mean, they are nose to tail down the pack right now, and then I think we're going to have a great finish. I mean, even though we still have 50 minutes left, I think we're going to have a great race for the battle out front. And yeah, Sturrock dropping off the back of Sam, but honestly, that's no surprise after what he showed in qualifying. Benny's done a good job so far in these opening laps. 23 yellow flag.
23, and there's another car that looked like Simcoe was losing it. He's managed to hold on. 105 as well. That is Steve Millington and Rob Smith. Oh my days, Privet's nearly caught him, so has Broom. That is not a place to be stationary at the top of the mountain. I believe the 59, Steve is the 59. Who's the 23? That is Mark Tucker, so not sure what happened to him. He was ahead of Andrew Taylor. As I looked away a moment, Andrew Page, sorry, is it Andrew Page? I'm just going to double check this one. But Page on the back now of Jamie Lee for that 9th place. He wants to get past to try and get onto the back of Bettis. And you look at the replay and find out what happened. I'll try and find Page's name so then we can get that one sorted. Either way, what a race this has been. The opener, 1.7 Sam at 2 Benny Varga. Gary Leach within a second now of Wolski. Hunt's chasing them down. He's got the block still with him. In fact, though, that isn't Hunt, that's Greaves. Sorry, in the same coloured Porsche, who's just behind him. He's a lap down. Where's Dronelander on the track? Your first of the pit runners after his big damage. He's ahead of the leaders, so he's still on the lead lap. When he crosses the line, he's technically on the same lap as the leaders, and he's ahead of them with a clear track in front. So he's got time now to just try and get that one back to where it needs to be. Taylor's still on the... In fact, Taylor's got damage. So what has happened to Andrew Taylor, who's dropped behind Flores, and he's got damage to the front. The Nissan of Johnson looking up the inside of Simcoe. Through he goes. And that Nissan powers on past yet another car. Jamie Lino coming under pressure from Lino, who's got past Page. So Lino moves up another place. And we found it, Langley.
So Tucker lost it going up the hill on left-hander before you dip down on the left-hander. And I'm just watching through because he is now backwards. I think it was a bit of a pile-up, and Sam went wide, or not Sam, Steve went wide to avoid him. Rob Smith did the same.
Sorry, Langley. Jamie Lee dropped it down towards the elbow. Page and Lino managed to avoid him. He's let the car roll across the track. Luckily, no one has caught him out, but Jamie Lee, huge incident there. Now he holds on to the brakes, just reverses it back off the line and out the way. Oh, now he rejoins it to Cabino. Oh, it's all going off tonight, Langley. It is all going off tonight.
Survival. Pace is one thing, but survival will get... I mean... For example, who have we not said too much tonight? Gary Leach. Yep. He's been surviving the best. Well, not the best, one of the best. I mean, he's moved his way up, and he's just stayed out of incidents so far.
I think Sturrock's been in the wall somewhere.
Yes, Sturrock
looks a little bouncy, and he's got a bit of damage on his car, and he's also lost out to Leach and Wolski. I said Leach from 11th could be someone, if there's dramas, to possibly win this race. He's 8 seconds off the back of Williams and Varga at the moment, but he's on the back of Wolski, and looking racy here is Gary Leach. Has Gary ever won at Mount Panorama? He doesn't like the place, he detests it, and no, he's never taken a pole position or a win, so I'm sure he'd love to try and right them wrongs here tonight. But yeah, what a start to this race at the moment. It's been absolutely chaos up and down the grid. And can Williams, and Dave saying in the chat, I wouldn't bet, I would bet on Williams, he said, and Robert Ramsell saying Nissan in the chat. We've been saying Nissan all evening. Is it just for you, Rob? Where is the Nissan? It is currently 4 tenths off the back. In fact, no, it's ahead of Andrew Taylor. And he's up into 14th place from the back of the grid, so a good start for him. But Gary Leach, 2 tenths off the back of Wolski. That's opened up at the top of the mountain. We've got Jamie Lee and Peckman into the pit lane. We've still got Millington and Rob Smith in there. Stothard's pitted. Wainwright's pitted. Paul Williams, Greaves and Dronelander have all pitted as well. And Gary has just dropped off the back of Wolski through the mountain section as they come towards the Forest Elbow once again. The beautiful Bentley sponsorship all around it. And Gary now, I think this is going to be his opportunity. You know, I don't think Gary's got the confidence up and down the mountain to get the, you know, to stick to the back of Wolski. He seems to have a good car through that final and first sector.
Yeah, and he's closed the gap down to Wolski over a few laps, so he must have a little bit of confidence.
Here he goes to the outside of the chase. Is he going to do it around there? Wolski goes a little deep. Gary gets too much on the curb. That's compromised his run. And Wolski can hang on into that position. He was having a look there, Langley. And is he going to think of a look up into the last corner of Murray's? No, he's not. Backs out of that one. And Gary Leach, a wily old fox, two-time pro champion many moons ago. But he's still got that racing expertise that you love to see. Sturrock still your bronze leader. And because he's been passed by Gary and Wolski, only 2 cars between him and Bettison. And that is to Block and Hunt, who are going at it as well. Further down the field in battles, Taylor trying to stick to the back of Johnson, with Simcoe and Malarex following for good company at the moment. Tell you what a shame Page didn't sign up to the start of this season. The championship could have looked a little different, couldn't it, with Page in the mix as well. But he's here for the remainder, so let's see what he can do in this race. Privet P19, bit of damage to his car. He's gaining on the back of Phil Atherton, and Malarex looking on Simcoe. Broom into the pits. Everybody. Oh, Rob Smith's been in the pits and hasn't done his stop fully, so he's going to have to stop again. And now him and Steve are being lapped coming up the mountain. This a dangerous place for blue flags. Drivers have got to be a bit wary here. I'm sure in the rules it says you can't lap down the hill at the mountain section, so hopefully drivers aren't going to get a little too impatient. Williams under a second to Benny Volga though now, and he's really starting to make a charge.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a battle sooner or later, because he's about to catch a little bit of lap traffic as well.
That's, who is that? That's the 169. That is
Stothard, I believe.
Stothard, yeah. Stothard with more damage on the rear of his car.
And Dronelander. Dronelander has made his pit stop though. That is the difference.
If you're Benny Volga or Williams, do you pit now knowing there's a bit of traffic? I mean, it's only these 2 cars, so hopefully they'll be compliant. But do you box now, or do you just leave it for that little bit later? Because after you've got past these 2, it's a clear road ahead for quite a while.
I feel like it's a bit early to box, especially tires aren't too bad around here, but it still would be a bit early to box, even though you would probably get clean air. But being OP 68 is off. I think that's Hunt. I just saw that, the yellow flag, yeah.
At the chase, not sure what's happened to him. Him and Tyler de Block was having a good fight with Sturrock as well, so he's made a mistake somewhere potentially and rejoins back onto the circuit. Will he come into the pits? No, he's going to stay out. That's Rob Smith. He's going to try and unlap himself. Gary's got close to Wolski once again. Volga's opened the gap up over him and Williams. Williams has cleared Stothard, but they haven't yet cleared Dronelander. No blue flags being waved though. Benny Volga on the outside curb of Quarry Bend, nearly lost it there.
Oh boy, that was close. Almost, he lost it last week. Let's hope it's not becoming a theme for him.
Yeah, he's not going to... Well, saying that, where's Lino? Lino's 8th, so he can get away with losing out to Williams a little bit, because Williams is a bit further back in that championship fight.
Yeah, Wolski's 10 seconds off of Williams, so they're in the fight of their own.
Life here, though. Look at Wolski. He's defending for his life at the moment from Gary Leach, who's just... Gary's one of them who's relentless. He'll keep that pressure on, and he won't make the move until you make a mistake. Unless the door's open, he'll force you into an error. Will Gary Leach, as I say that, he makes an error of his own and drifts into the gravel trap, and ignore everything I've just said, because Gary's done it himself. As we tumble down the order now, then where's a close fight on the circuit? Not really. Everywhere's kind of over a second. That wasn't closest. Gary's not lost out too much. That's his only bonus he can take.
No, he hasn't, and he's kept it out the wall. As I say that, he almost puts it in the wall at the final corner. Maybe we should stop talking, Matt.
Yeah, let's go watch Benny Volga and Williams. They're within 6/10 of each other. Let's hope that they don't have as much bad luck as Gary Leach has just been having there. But so far, so good for Benny Volga. Again, we'd like to apologise for the quality of the stream tonight. Internet issues in the local area just causing the stream to not be the quality that we at SimPlay Motorsport would like to provide to you. They have reassured me it will be sorted tomorrow, so hopefully it will be a lot better for tomorrow night. But Gary Leach, the man on a mission at the moment. Sam Williams, the man on a mission. Lino's within half a second now of Bettison, so Sturrock will want Lino to pass Bettison after Hunt's had his mistake.
Yeah, as I was saying, you can pit, but while you're trying to undercut, I mean, I think you're going to run into traffic possibly at some point. if you do pit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really think it's worth it, and especially with how far out in front these two are, I think it's best just to run long, actually, at this point.
Well, Drone Lander is just coming through turn 3 now. Still no blue flags are being waved, so he's still clear enough at the moment for the blue flags to not be an issue. So for Drone Lander, he's just got to keep doing what he's doing. And while Benny Varga and Sam are lapping, Varga's opened that gap back up another 6 tenths. You know, everything just is okay for the leaders. And like I say, the last bit of traffic, the next bit of traffic, that is a huge bit with DJ Phil Atherton in that little group of cars. Although that was a car off, that was Privet who's coming back into the pit lane. Sorry, back into the pit lane for the first time. So he's going to do his stop. But yeah, the next bit of traffic's now at the start line. That was Tucker. A bit slow out the final corner, and through will go Wainwright. Where is Wainwright on my list of drivers? He's there, so he's past Tucker. That's to unlap himself at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite chaotic at the start, but you see the ones that have survived and are having good pace out there right now. I mean, the top two are just absolutely gone from the rest of this pack.
Well, the top two at the minute, Sam's last lap was a 2:02.6. Benny's was a 2:03.3. So that shows you the pace of these two. Wolski in third, 2:04. Gary a 2:05. Sturrock a 2:04. Yes, we're seeing 2:03s, 2:04s, but Sam Williams, fastest man by far on the circuit at the moment. But he just can't get close. In fact, the gap was 1.8 seconds. Sam's just dropped off the back a little bit more here from Benny Varga. Maybe a mistake on the lap, the 169. Just had a yellow flag pop up against its name. That is Stothard. Got damage again to that Porsche. Did he not repair it in the pits? I thought he may have done, but damage looks similar to what it was before. Either way, he was the yellow flag at the chase. So the leaders carry on their way. Lino looking now for the undercut over Bettison, sorry, in this race. And that Lexus of straight line speed down the back straight is going to be massive over the Ferrari. So yeah, possibly a good call. Sturrock's lost out to the block here.
Yeah, that's just from experience, or I would be speaking from experience with that. Trying to pass around here, and I think Stothard's slow, but he's just letting drivers lap him right now. Yeah, when you're the Ferrari, you have to overtake in the corners. Unfortunately, most of the corners around here are single file, and be pretty stupid sometimes to try to shove it up the inside at some of these corners. So I think the undercut, it would be best for him right now, and I think he'll come out in a good bit of clean air, I believe, at the back of this pack, because he has exited his pit box, coming out the pits now, and yeah, he's going to have a good bit of clean air to push into there.
Yellow flag, that's the 4.73 of Jamie Lee, who's around at turn 3 on the outside, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. And he's now got the track where he can rejoin. So just to clarify, Tucker, Drone Lander, Greaves, Peckman, Lee, Privet. No, not Lee now. Lee's just been lapped. So where's Peckman on the circuit? He's behind the leader. So he's a lap down. Greaves is a lap down. So it is only Drone Lander who is not technically a lap down to the leaders. Yes, it says +1 lap. But as he crosses the line in a moment, he's still on that lead lap. He didn't get lapped. Taylor coming under pressure as the Nissan in the wall. Coming through that of... Oh, Malarex just squeezes through the gap there. And as the Nissan comes through Skyline, he has a bit of a moment. And, yeah,
that's
John
close.
Who's around.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Page going up the inside of Sturrock. What's happened to Sturrock? He's lost out to Page and Beto. So all that good work at the beginning of the race and qualifying, he's now third in class, and Bettison leads the bronze category again.
Yeah, we talked a little too good about a driver, Matt. That seems to be what happens.
Yeah, Jamie Lee's around again. That's coming down the mountain now. Oh, I think he just got caught a little bit there by Rob Smith. Carries on his way. At times, if the car's not going to steer, it's probably best to just pull it over, return to the pits, take the tow time of 2 minutes when you return to the pit lane and just get it in. Because the mountain section is not a section you want to be in. That car is broken. You can see him creeping around the circuit. I tell you what, this is one of them races where if you don't retire from the race, you could be in for points because drivers are dropping it on their own everywhere.
Yeah, and if you keep it out the walls, you'll be in for really good points, and we're seeing that right now, especially with the top 5.
Indeed we are. So Sturrock's fell way behind Page. Page has dropped off the back of Bettison in this race at the moment. Gabino's got Flores catching the back of him. That is 0.7 of a second, the closest fight on the track at the moment. Sam's 2 seconds behind Benny Varga now, so just dropped off the plate. The 75, that's Bettison now off and in a wall, facing the wrong way, and he's got damage. Has to keep it there, rolls it into the gravel. That's fine. He's now going to rejoin safely. And all of a sudden, this race is turning on its head, because now Page leads in the bronze category. And Sturrock's back up into second. And with the likes of Hunt and Brian Craig and Gabino. In fact, did Gabino get past Bettison? No, he didn't. So, I tell you what, this bronze category especially could go any way. Williams, 2.5 seconds behind Varga now. No damage, it looks like, to his car. So, Benny's BMW... and it goes through a bit of a phase 15-20 minutes into the race. Is the BMW just coming out of that phase? Because he gained 0.8 of a second on the last lap.
I do want, and I have to be careful giving props to drivers now, but before anything happens, one driver I want to give props to is Simcoe. Every week it seems to be he's at the very bottom of bronze class. He is P4 in bronze class right now. So he has a little damage on his car, I believe, but still, great driving from him so far tonight.
Yeah, great driving from him. Beto wanted to pit and was squeezing Gabino just a little bit to get into the pit lane. He then braked to let Gabino fly past and darted into the pit lane before Flores got to him. So Bettison in, Sturrock in as well from the lead, from second place in bronze. So this will put Simcoe's doing pretty well. He's 4th in class now, 2nd in class for the bronze category at the moment. And crucially, he's on that lead lap. Doesn't, the car's got damage, but we've seen worse. We've seen a lot worse at the moment.
A lot worse.
Clear of Malarex. Lino is your pit leader, technically in 16th place. He'll gain 2 more. Sturrock's done his stop here then. That's a good stop from Sturrock. Bettison must have had a lot more damage than Sturrock then. So is Lino going to come past Sturrock? I believe he will. Yes, he does. And Lino will then be still your net pit leader. Peckman on the back of Greaves. Or was. That's a bit more than 0.9 of a second. Excuse me now. Is Broom still in the pits. Rob Smith 3 laps down. He's back out on track. This is just about getting the points, taking them and moving on to next week, which is our second of the night races. And that is Spa, in which it's Thanksgiving in America. So Langley will not be with us on commentary next week as Gabino's now off. Bounces onto the gravel. Manages to keep it out the wall. And we have lost Diego Flores from the server. I wondered why I couldn't click on him. He has been disconnected, so hopefully he can get himself back in. Then Gary Leach back within a second of Wolski. That's 0.9. As Williams now 2.5 behind Benny Varga. But yeah, Langley, hope you have a good Thanksgiving next week. You'll be missed in the comms box, but what a race this is turning out to be.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like yeah, it looks like Dronelander's finally getting those blue flags that Benny Varga's probably been wanting him to get for a while. Not going to let him through though. That is bit weird. I would feel like you should let him through. That's probably the best place to let him through is at the end of that straight, but he doesn't, and now he's holding him up. So we'll see. We'll see if he
back into Sam's hands, isn't it? Well, while this is happening, he moves out of the way now. That's the right. It's up the mountain, so it's a little safer than downhill, but probably the wrong time for Dronelander because he's possibly cost himself time there. I get Dronelander's going to want to stay on that lead lap, but you've got to abide to the blue flag rules, unfortunately. Well, that's not going to help Sam out because Sam will be now giving him the blue flags down the mountain, in which we don't advise drivers to really lap cars down the mountain.
Yeah, no.
It tightens up even more. There's Wolski still fending off Gary. This one of the closest fights on the circuit. Greaves and Peckman actually 0.4 of a second, it says. There he is. Peckman's come back at Greaves. DJ Phil's returned to the pit lane. Phil Atherton, because he's had that's why the yellow flag stays on his name. That means he's returned to the pit lane on his car number in the pits. It is an active race, Berserker. There is movements everywhere. It's hard to keep up with these movements as well at the moment. But what a race it has been. Simcoe's in the pits from the bronze second place at the moment. Does Sturrock get past him? Where's Sturrock on track? Yep, Sturrock's past him. Tucker's obviously gone through but not pitted. Bettison, that's to block. Where's the block in this race? Because he's just had a moment at Forest Elbow. De Block was 5th, and now he's coming under pressure from Page, who's your bronze leader in 5th place.
Yeah, I'm still watching Simcoe. I would think he might have a shot at a podium here. It depends on where he comes out. comparison to Beto, still not out of his box, so we'll see. I'll keep an eye on that, but yeah, Sturrock making his pit stop. He's well out in front again. He'll be fighting a Page for the win of that, the bronze class again.
He will indeed. Page is just putting De Block under some pressure. De Block doesn't look to have too much damage on the front of his car. That is Beto in front, who's nearly a lap down to these guys as well. So, but these haven't pitted. Williams has now got the gap over, 2-3 seconds to Benny Varga. So he's not lapped Dronelander either. In fact, he's nowhere near Dronelander is Williams. No blue flags, but he has got a little damage on the left-hand side of that car. So he has hit a wall somewhere. Was out to shape. That's in the wall on the right-hand side now. Just a brush. Nothing more than that. But Sam just starting to struggle here.
I think Simcoe repaired his damage, which is why it took so long. But yeah, we have a good fight again. I mean, Leach is within a second of Wolski. It looks like he's been quicker. Made that little mistake. Hasn't really gained. Didn't really gain it back too quick, but he's gained it back slowly, and now he's back on the back of Wolski again.
Yeah, now he's back on the rear of Wolski. Gary has brought that gap down to Block and Page, still fighting hard up through the mountain. Hunter's done his pit stop and out he comes. Where is Lino in relation to Hunt? Then Lino's gone past, so Lino's still your pit leader, and he's got a good bit of track in front of him. He's got Millington just coming into turn 2 now, so he's got a good gap ahead, and he's doing quite all right at the moment. Page 5/10 off the back of De Block, as we know. De Block had that moment on the last lap. He's got damage, but Gary Leach just opened up to a second to Wolski. Clearly doesn't have that momentum. Williams now 4.1 behind Benny Varga. Magnet walls, all the track. Be careful, says Berserker in the chat. And indeed it has been. These drivers, I tell you what, I don't know if there's going to be any walls left for tomorrow night's race.
Yeah. Oh, any pieces that are still left, I'm sure we'll take care of it tomorrow night. So.
Oh, 100%. I have no doubt that there'll be a few of you possibly in the wall tomorrow night. I'm thinking a certain Mercedes driver tomorrow night may explore the walls a few times. He found them a few times in the BMW M2s last night. And I did say, you can't ticket anybody apart from yourself, because he was doing really well and then kept hitting a wall. And yeah, I think we're going to be in for a cracking Pro 9. The last time we did Bathurst in Pro, it was a great fight between Dan and Overtaker. Dan was in the Lexus as well the last time we raced here, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow night indeed. Page still on the back of De Block at the moment. Gary's pitted from that 4th place, so we'll see where Lino comes out in relation to Gary. That could be a huge one for Lino, who is coming down the back straight now, the Conrad straight, in towards the chase, and Gary's not gone green. Lino here could, oh, Gary's just gone green, so ignore that. Gary's going to come out and be the net pit leader.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get the undercut on Wolski. There's quite big gaps. It almost feels like an endurance race with the gaps that we have out on the track right now. That's kind of what Bathurst is.
It is indeed. I'm looking at Benny's car. No damage, but he's lost nearly 2 seconds to Sam. And there's still Dronelander in the middle. So I'm not sure what has happened to Benny Varga. There is still a lot of cars in the pits. Jimenez in the chat. I'll be the only one to clatter the wall as the Mustang feels terrible around here. I'm sure you won't. Sturrock's round. Sturrock is around just as Benny Varga's coming towards him. The braking markers have been obliterated. And Sturrock in the wall with big damage. A bent rear wing. A bonnet that's lifted. And that race winning bronze and a chance to close the gap to Bettison may have just gone.
Yeah, I think it's gone for sure. And he loses it on the inside of the grass again. It's gone from... Yeah, and he takes the tow time with the return to pit, so that is pretty much when done. I think he actually just left as well. So that is the... Yeah, you can't click on him anymore.
Yeah, there we go.
Really hope that wasn't a rage quit, so...
I hope not, but he returned to the pits and then left, so I'd assume potentially was, which is a shame. For Sturrock. No points for him and potentially a qualifying ban as De Block's defending now from Page, your bronze leader at the moment. In towards Hell's corner of turn 1. The 96 has had a moment at the chase. That is Sam Greaves. He's now in a wall hard and he's now got to get it pointed the right way. So Peckman's gone through. Where's Johnson? He's got past him. Simcoe's past him. Paul Williams may even get past here. Broom's into the pits for his stop. He's been there for a while. That may be a retirement for Broom. What a race this is. Brian Craig and Wolski in the pits. Wolski's gone green. Gary's just exited the chase. So let's see where Wolski will emerge from Gary. Short run down the pit lane, don't forget. So Wolski could be off the limiter pretty soon. Gary through the final corner. Wasn't a great exit from the chase for Gary Leach. When does Wolski come off that limiter? And you're off the limiter on the exit of turn 1. He's off it now. Gary comes through turn 1. Wolski is there, well up the road. That gap is a lot bigger than last time.
Yeah, and Benny Varga had traffic down the mountain. Nothing you can really do about that there. So that's very unlucky. I don't think he lost too much to Sam. We'll see as they cross the sector line here. Actually gained a little. I think Sam made probably a little bit of a mistake there.
If I was Sam now, seeing 3 lapped cars ahead of you, I'd be pulling this straight into the pit. You're halfway through the race. You're over halfway through the race. I'd be boxing.
Well, Benny's boxing as well, so they both had the same idea then.
And Sam. Safest choice for Sam for me, that one. Smartest choice as well. Greaves back into the pits, Varga pits, Williams pits. What about De Block and Page? The only 2 Bar Broom who haven't pitted in this race at the moment. We've lost Flores and we've lost Sturrock in this race, which is huge for Sturrock given the championship ramifications. But Bettison, who is currently 3rd in bronze at the moment, will be breathing a sigh of relief. De Block into the pits. Page stays out. And once again, a bronze leader will lead the overall race here at Mount Panorama. Like Bettison did at Silverstone a week ago. Closest fight, Dronelander on Gabino. And look at Dronelander. Had that damage that one, got it back to the pits, got his damage done. He's sitting P12 on the back of P11. And Andrew Taylor's got huge damage in front of him for P10. So Dronelander here, all of a sudden, looking at a P10 by boxing early, getting in clear air, keeping out of trouble.
Yeah, keeping it out of the walls will gain you positions around this place. Doesn't matter if you have a bad first lap, really. So, yeah, he's done a very good recovery, and looking at a top 10 now, or staring at the face of the top 10, would be absolutely amazing from the way this race started.
Indeed it would. We'll keep our eyes on the yellow flags. 25 minutes to go. If you have just joined us, we again apologise for the quality of the stream. It will hopefully be better tomorrow night. Internet issues in the local area, which is just providing less of a connection. We've had to get Dan Davis to run the Streamlabs tonight to make sure everything's good to go. He's been our producer in our ears for this evening. But Dronelander versus Gabino. Page leads the race. Last car to pit. Broom, that could be a retirement for Broom in this one. 10 laps down. Still not done his actual pit stop as well. What a race. What a night we've had here at Bathurst Mount Panorama. It's been absolutely crazy. Dronelander's made a mistake through the chase, and that puts to bed any chance of Gabino at the moment, who is now on the back of Andrew Taylor.
No damage, though. I think that's the main thing in this.
Yeah.
No damage is a big factor around here, so. Look at Sam and Benny Varga. Sam made a mistake there.
I don't know.
He's lost a little bit.
Yeah, he's just got past him. Oh, he's had a big twitch and a big loss. He's managed to just bounce off the wall and keep it going. Paul Williams avoided him, but Sam, yeah, he's lost even more time. Again, just them race 2 demons. He cannot seem to shake them in this championship at the moment. Page pits from the lead of the race and the lead of bronze. He was fighting De Block, who is coming down the hill now. So where will Page come out in this race? Closest fight, that of Tucker and Peckman, with Millington moving out the way there of a lapped car, and I believe that was of Jamie Lee. The car he's trying to fight, but is a couple of laps down to Jamie Lee in this race. So Peckman on the back of Tucker now in this one. And Benny Varga, I tell you what, he's not won since Alton Park. We said how well he's been driving. We said about, you know, the spins at Silverstone and the dramas of race 2 there, the dramas of race 1 tonight. Back to his best.
Yeah, back to his best, back to the consistency, back to the crushing consistency that he's had all season. But tonight at Mount Panorama, consistency being the main factor and doing well or not, I think it might bring him the win again.
Yeah, he's in the box seat. He's got a lot of traffic coming up though, and that is this traffic then of the Mark Tucker Peckman fight, with then that of Liam Millington just in front. The 105's had a moment coming down the hill. That is Rob Smith, who's facing the wrong way in a wall, and he returns to the pit lane to get that one straight out the way. But Cabino now within 8/10 of Andrew Taylor, closest fight on the track. Where did Page come out? Behind Gary Leach, behind Lino, but ahead of De Block. So Page jumped De Block, but lost out to Lino. Lino, 15th he started in this race. He's up to 6th. And it's just damage limitations for him in this race with Benny Varga in the championship.
Yeah, exactly. Man, these gaps are absolutely massive. like I said earlier, it almost feels in a way like an endurance race. And you and I would know a lot about endurance races recently, Matt. Yeah, not too many close gaps out there right now. I think Peckman and Tucker are the closest battle right now for 15th place, that is. We have another yellow flag.
Yeah, that's the 68. 68.
The 53 and then the 68.
Hunt from P8. DJ, yeah, that's Phil Atherton who slowed down the mountain. So if him and Hunt come together maybe at somewhere, but Hunt is facing the wrong way at the top, and they've got Brian Craig about to be inbound with Stothard. Through goes Brian Craig up into 8th place. Taylor trying to still... No, Gabino's in a wall. So Gabino at the top of the mountain in a wall. He was trying to chase down Andrew Taylor. Dronelander's got damage as well. So have they had a coming together? It is all still happening at Mount Panorama this evening. 21 minutes left. Now the 19, which is Gabino, gets back going. Oh my days. No matter where you look, you cannot make this up tonight.
Yeah, don't look away. Because then the mountain will bite, and that is what's happened tonight. Yeah, the mountain bites again, and multiple drivers have found that out tonight.
The mountain's still got 20 minutes to bite, and it's got all of tomorrow night as well as Peckman on board him, going through the first of the two left-handers at the top of the mountain, just trying to put more pressure on the back of Mark Tucker, who currently sits 4th place in bronze, 22 seconds off that bronze podium. Would love. But with anything that can happen at Mount Panorama, could be on it come the end of it. Getting really close coming downhill. Quite a nice section. It's a very rewarding section, I find, a joyful section when you actually drive this track and nail it. It's lovely dipping downhill, flicking it left and right. Peckman just still looking on the back of Tucker. De Block's gaining on Page once again further forward. Dan says it's the best track in the world. It's no Interlagos, let's put it that way. Gary Leach has brought the gap down from 3.5 seconds to 1.6. So Gary's got the pace over Wolski, gets behind Wolski, but cannot find a way past him.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, same car on same car is going to make it a little bit more difficult to pass than usual. I think Gary has like some very minor damage on the front. Wouldn't be doing too much, but while Wolski's car in comparison looks a bit more clean, I mean. So that could be playing a factor, but not too sure.
We do need Long Beach, as Dan shouts from the background saying...
Yes, we do need Long Beach. And hopefully with this next game, we get Daytona and Sebring on top of that.
And Interlagos.
Yeah, well, you've already mentioned that track, so...
Yeah, but we get Interlagos. That's the best thing about it. Not only do we get to stay at Donington Mall, of the home of SimPlay.
We are not doing Monaco in these cars.
We get to go back to the old home of SimPlay at Daytona. We get Sebring, we get Interlagos. I'm not going to do the accent, don't worry. We don't want Monaco because Bathurst's bad enough. Never mind Monaco. You'll love this, Langley. The last time we did a Long Beach race, Kelly Davis qualified quite well in the pro race. Decided to hit his clutch pedal instead of his brake going into turn 1, wiped out Gary Leach and his brother and nearly took Dan Davis out as well.
Project Cars Tuesday. Project Cars 2 day.
Yep. Brilliant. Andrew Taylor's got Dronelander on the back of him now. I'm just trying, by the way, to look at race 1's results and pick a driver of the day. I can't, because Wainwright won, he's 20th. Lee got 3rd, he's at 25th. Dronelander got 2nd. Maybe, all right. Dronelander's going on the list for the vote at the moment. Williams is doing well in this one.
I would have said,
race one.
Well, Hunt was 8th. And now he's in the pits.
Now he's in the pits, and he got 4th in race 1. Where was De Block? Where was De Block in race 1? That could be what. He was 7th. So yeah, De Block can go on that list. where was Brian Craig? I feel like Brian Craig had a bit of a decent result. He was 9th, so let's put Brian Craig on that list. And then for my 4th option, other. Comment who, please? Because it's been very difficult to pick a driver of the day. I've got my bronze driver of the day. I think that's going the way of the Porsche driver of page. I think they've had a great debut. Won the sprints, didn't they, in the first one, in the bronze category. I think Page has had a brilliant start here.
Yeah, I don't think Benny Vargas had too bad of a day either. I mean, if it stands, it would be 1st and 12th. So that's not too bad either. But yeah, I mean, I think that just shows what this track brings. It brings its chaos, it brings its madness, the unpredictability of this place. Always delivers.
It always does deliver. Dronelander on the back of Andrew Taylor now. Closest fight on the circuit. Gary Leach is 12 seconds behind Wolski. What has happened there? No real significant damage. Maybe just a spin at the chase where there's not a lot of walls to hit. 'Cause he's had that damage on the front of his car for a while now. So that's put that to bed. Page has got the block behind him, trying to fend him off in the opening stages. Page, P6. We say this every week, Langley, that if you're a bronze driver and you get in that top 10, that is huge points over your rivals. Just a block looks up the inside into Quarry Bend. Does he get the move done? Yes, he does. So Page now down to 7th in the overall standings. He still leads in bronze as Dronelander on the grass. Taylor giving the best he squeezed that he felt at Alton Park. Hunt back into the pits. Taylor has a moment on the exit and Dronelander can't get past yet.
Yeah, Hunt, I think went in the pits, repaired his damage, came out the pits, and got more damage. So that is not the most ideal, as we would say.
It's Varga from Williams as Dronelander once again looks to attack Andrew Taylor. Gap 3.9 seconds out from Dronelander to the outside at Quarry Bend. Has he got it done on Taylor? Taylor out, breaks himself, taps Dronelander, and Taylor's in the wall. And that's put Dronelander through and more damage to Taylor's car. Malarek's 14 seconds behind. Can he gain that in 15 minutes? Well, Taylor looks like he's struggling to turn that car a little bit. He's gone deep again on the exit. I think Taylor's in a spot of bother here.
Yeah. I think, I know I said at the beginning, 15th for Lino. Does that spell good for him? Well, he's 5th. So that's not too bad. It's not a win, but considering the leader is about a half a lap ahead of him, yeah, not about a half, 1/3 of a lap or so ahead. Yeah, it's not too bad from 15th on the grid.
And he's only 1.8 off of Gary after Gary's drama, so, you know, could be a P4 maybe for Lino, and just damage limitation in losing points to Benny Varga. The points he gained in race 1, they could open up that gap once again. Benny Varga to Lino in this one. Then as we come towards the back end of this race, 15 minutes left to go. Taylor, is he going to box? He's just flashed the lights there, not sure what at, but yeah, Taylor then, big damage. Simcoe back into the pits. What a shame for him. He was up in 17th. He's had some good running today as Simcoe. Like you said earlier, he's always there till the end. Does Taylor box? He's struggling to turn that car in, and he's actually lost 4 seconds to Malarek this lap. So Taylor struggling and stays out at the moment. I'm sure Kelly Davis will put his hand in his pocket to foot the bill for the repairs on the Audio Sport cars this week. Good job the stream can't hear Dan shouting. Gary's in a wall! He's in a wall! Lino just avoids him. Gary does a whole 360. It may have been a 640 actually, or 620, whatever it is, and he spun around twice, bounced off the wall, damage to the front. He's now got the block and Page on the rear. Gary Leach's day could have been a podium. It's now 5th place and possibly worse for him at the end of this one.
Yeah, does he have any suspension damage? But I think the block and Page will both be by him relatively soon, possibly by the end of next lap. I don't think it's enough for him to pit. I don't think it'd be worth pitting.
No.
'Cause there's some massive gaps behind, but yeah, disappointment from possible podium.
Just hear me out a second. Brian Craig's only just at the top of the mountain.
That is an unbelievable gap.
Gary could probably pit, repair the damage, not take tyres or fuel, and come out ahead of Brian Craig. So he'd still only lose the 2 places he may lose. He's going to carry on his way. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But De Block now getting close to the back of Gary Leach. So Lino's now up into 4th, 14 seconds off the back of Wolski. Got to go at 1 and a bit seconds a lap. In fact, no, he's probably got to go even more than that a lap, actually, considering it's 2 minutes a lap. So yeah, can Lino catch Wolski? That's going to be a big ask. I doubt it, but we'll keep our eyes on the times. Williams back to 4.1 to Vargas. So I think Williams is now... Look, unless Benny Vargas is going to make a mistake, Williams has got to be in the mindset of bring the car home, let's not wreck it and ruin our race.
Thing is, I wouldn't even say mistake. I would say lap traffic down the mountain, just like right now. It could be a mistake of his own, don't get me wrong, but I mean, something could happen with a lap car and he'd be collected, and that could also play a factor. Although it hasn't happened yet, he's done a very good job at being patient with the lap traffic, so that's what you have to do at this track.
It is indeed. De Block has passed Leach. A lot of gravel being kicked up there. I think that was Steve Millington getting out of the way at the top of the mountain. So De Block has passed Leach. Page 1.8 seconds behind. But yeah, Benny Varga, like I say, he's the man in the danger zone, although Lee's still not let him through. Lee has a moment under braking there and nearly hits into the side of Benny Varga. Well, Sam's got the gap down to 3.6 seconds now. Simcoe's back into the pits. Malarex has got onto the back of Bettison, or has Bettison actually passed Malarex? 100% sure, but Beto second in bronze after his dramas earlier. That's brilliant for him. Simcoe's back in the pits. What a shame. Greaves was on the back of Stoffard. That's bigger than 0.8 of a second now. But what a race we've seen here at Bathurst today. It's been absolutely action-packed all day long. Gary's not dropped off the back of the block here. So Gary may want to try and make a move back through. The block very twitchy through the chase there. Williams 3.6 off the back of Benny Varga, and Varga has now got Peckman and a couple of other cars to deal with coming up and down the mountain once again as blue flags.
I mean, what a race, what a track, what a setting for tonight's race.
We're being told by Dan that if you're a Ferrari driver, you have to win at Monza. If you're an Audio Sport driver, you have to win at Bathurst. Sadly, no Audio Sport driver has won in bronze or in silver this evening, so Dan and Ben's got to carry that one on tomorrow night to try and get that one done. Stoffard and Greaves still going at it, 0.9 of a second separating them two. And Leach actually still only 0.4 off the back of De Block here. De Block struggling himself now he's past Leach.
Yeah, and that's bringing Page into play. I mean, could get a top 5 on debut if the cards fall his way, so we'll see if that happens. But yeah, great drive from him right out the blocks tonight.
Indeed it is, as Gary brushes the wall once more, manages to keep it on the track and loses a couple of tenths there, then back down to the Stoffard and Greaves battle. That's 0.4 of a second at the moment. Greaves looks a little closer than that as well, coming up in towards turn 2 as Millington's back into the pits. Night to forget for Steve Millington, I think, in this one. As what a race this has been. Williams 3.3 off the back of Benny Varga now. Benny Varga's gaining on what looks to be Rob Smith as lap traffic. The next car is Malarex, who is well up the road, and Smith, before the final corner, gets straight out the way. Williams, I think, has got Lee and Smith to get past. Gary still, in fact, where's De Block gone? There's where De Block's gone. He's around out the forest elbow. Big incident into the wall, nearly rejoins into Wainwright's path. So Page moves up into P6 overall at the moment and is only 2.2 off the back of Gary Leach. There's still dramas happening, Langers, with 10 minutes to go.
And I still expect more. I mean, if you try to take a breath around this place, it will hurt you. And whether that's driving or commentating, because I just tried to take a breath and it didn't work, obviously. So I still expect more dramas all the way to the checkered flag here.
Yeah, expect that as Greaves is in the slipstream of Stoffard coming down the Conrad straight in towards the last couple of corners. The 89ers return to the pits with yellow flags. That is Andrew Taylor, so he's stacked it in the wall once again possibly, as he's returned to the pit lane. Greaves giving Stoffard a flash of the lights. So Bettison now will move into the top ton. The 63 by Benny Varga is a yellow flag. That is off, though, well out the way on the gravel. That was Privet who was nearly in the top, who was 5th in bronze. So that'll give Simcoe a place back. Back to the Greaves and Stothard fight, though. Langers, this has been drama all night long. It has been relentless for these drivers. And Williams is now only 3.3 behind, but he's still got a lap. Rob Smith and Jamie Lee here.
Yeah, and that's... I mean, I think Benny Varga is home clear in terms of back markers. Sam's still got a lot of work to do. And I don't know why, but Lee is not making it easy. He's not giving it up, and it looks like he does finally give it up, but only after about a lap of being behind. So 3.6, 7 minutes left. That's a bit too much to overcome, even with the pace that Sam's shown tonight. Benny doesn't really have any more lap traffic, though, so...
Sorry, I was just watching the fight between Stothard and Greaves there, and Millington was slow up the mountain because of the...
Gary's off again. Gary's off big time.
Again, so that'll put Page up into the top 5. What's the damage to Gary Leach?
Big time. Big damage.
Huge. That'll probably be a pit stop. That has to be a pit stop in this race. Turn the tyres and fuel off. Just repair the damage. Hopefully it's not too much, because you've got about 40 seconds until Brian Craig will be with you. But Gary Leach... well, that is his day gone from bad to worst. He already detests this circuit. He'll hate it even more now. And Page, your bronze leader, P5. Beto and Malarex, depending on Gary's damage, could be P8 and 9.
Yeah, I think, yeah, he's very slow right now as well. So I think after he repairs this damage, it definitely will be.
So Brian Craig's just left the Forest Elbow. So as Dronelander could be 7th in this race after his lap 1 pit stop. What a comeback drive for Dronelander.
That is... I mean, that's what happens when you keep it out the walls. Didn't happen on the first lap. Or didn't happen at the start of the race. Did it for the other 59 minutes, though. So, yeah, great comeback drive for him. It's going to end up being a P7, because he will overtake Gary in the pits here. But he does have Craig ahead of him, so it could even be a P6.
And it's only 1.8 seconds, that gap. We'll keep our eyes on it. Sam's got the gap down to 3.2 seconds. Dronelander P8 with Beto now 9th. If Gary's not moving out the pit lane, Beto's going to get past, as will Malarex. Peckman's just left Forest Elbow, so Gary could be P10, 11 by this one. Tucker's 8 seconds behind him. Then comes Johnson, who's only just entering Forest Elbow. Williams a bit further back than that. Wainwright's 15th. De Block's 16th after his stop. Cabino 17th. Taylor still in the pits in 18th. Then it's Simcoe 19th place, who could pass Taylor here, with Taylor being in the pits. Greaves now 20th. He's got ahead of Stothard. They've passed Privet in the pits, so they gain an extra couple of points there. Privet, as we said, is in the pit lane. Phil Atherton 24th. Jamie Lee 25th. Then comes out of Rob Smith, Steve Millington, and then Broom, who has been retired from this race. But Dronelander now within 0.6 of a second of Brian Craig. This could be a top 6.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully he doesn't push it too hard, or like we said already, this mountain will bite. So we'll keep an eye on this going down the mountain now.
Indeed we will. Gary has not emerged from the pit still, so he is tumbling down the order as we speak at the moment. And Dronelander, well, there you go. He's made the mistake. He's put the wall, and that gives Brian Craig a bit of breathing space in this one. And what just when you think, you know, keep it out the wall, you've got the pace to get past him, mistake once again creeps in. We're under 5 minutes to go. 2 yellow flags behind Malarex. Who is that? That is Bettison, who's had a moment. He's dropped behind Malarex now, so Malarex will gain points over his championship rival, and it was Phil Atherton as well. Oh, it's tough to keep up today with everything that's going on.
We still got 4 minutes left, Matt. Okay, I still, I still think there's more to come. I like how we usually wind down for the end of this race. Bathurst doesn't do that. Bathurst does not roll like that. Bathurst is like, you're gonna get non-stop action. You're gonna get heart and mouth moments all race.
Yeah. I'm telling you now, if you haven't already, go back through the playlists of SimPlay Motorsport. Season 4 or 5 of Project Cars 2, Pro-Am. Bathurst was the finale of the season, a wet Bathurst. Kelly Davis lost the championship to Rabbit Joe, Joseph Colclough, back in the day by 1 second place. It went back to a count back of second places. And it's not until the last 5 laps or 4 laps of that race that me and Dan had no clue Kelly was still in the championship fight until 4 laps, or maybe even 3 laps till the end. And we twigged, and you hear the moment that I twig on and tell Dan what's happened, and all of a sudden it became, that was drama. That was one of the best Bathurst races in terms of drama I have ever seen. This comes a close second. The actual Bathurst race was won on the last lap, we're being told by Dan, because the leader, Jamie Wincup, ran out of fuel. Dan knows about running out of fuel for a race win. He knows all about that. Renault Clio Cup back at Silverstone. That is also on the playlist if you want to watch that one. Sam Williams has got the gap down to 2.7 seconds, and Dronelander back on the rear of Brian Craig once again.
Yeah, Sam dropped the gap to Benny. Oh, I don't think he has enough time to get it done. He's making a late push here for it, at least.
I suppose making a late push is going to put Benny under pressure to try and maybe get a mistake out of Benny Varga, but Benny's been flawless since taking the lead on lap 1. Here comes Dronelander on the back of Brian Craig in the slipstream of the Lamborghini. Dronelander pulls to the inside line now. He makes contact with Brian Craig, pushes Craig off, and Dronelander has a spin. Oh, Dronelander's nearly hit him again as they've come across the circuit. Brian Craig, though, will keep hold of that position. Where's Malarex? He could be in for a position. No, Dronelander's back going on the grass through the chase. Does he keep it pointing the right way? Yes, he does. So he will stay ahead. And the 96 has had a yellow flag. That is Greaves once again, who's back into the pit lane.
That was a massive accident there. And Malarex, you can see him in the background when watching Dronelander now. So I'm not really sure. I'd have to watch it back at another angle, but it just looked like they both came together at a fast right-hand corner.
Well, the gap's down to 1.7.
Oh, Johnson, yellow flag right now down the mountain.
Yeah, where is Johnson? Let's take a look at him.
That's right on the apex. He needs to get it going.
That's a tough place to get that turned around as well.
I think his suspension's broken. He probably should just swallow it and return to the pits.
He's getting it going back. Well, we're on the last lap. Gap's 1.8 seconds. Has Williams got enough to just distract that of Benny Varga there then? Yeah, I forgot who I was talking about. That of Benny Varga. Has he got enough in him to just distract him in this race? Well, we'll find out in a moment or two. So far, so good. If you're Benny Varga in this one, 1.8 seconds on the last lap is a comfortable gap to have. You've just not got to make any single mistakes in this race. It's going to be spicy after the race. The Discord is going to be non-stop, I reckon.
It's going to have the lap traffic of DJ Phil going down the mountain here, so we'll see. We will see.
And the problem with Phil is, we've seen it for a while now, he wants to get out the way as soon as possible. Down the mountain is not the best idea to get out the way as soon as possible. He's just got to keep it going as Phil here. Beto's on the back of Malarex. We'll check that out in a minute. Phil's coming through Forest Elbow. There we go. Phil will probably now just bail off the circuit. He's still going. Pulls to the inside a little bit. He's not letting up here, is DJ Phil. So he's keeping going. Phil Atherton. Probably playing the Christmas music on Radio Seren already. He's probably been playing that since September, to be fair. As Beto's on the back of Malarex for a final position here. They are going to get one more lap. Speeding in the pit lane for Sam Greaves. The only penalty we've seen tonight. So fair play to all the drivers. We're down to 27. That was Phil going off. Thought for a moment there Benny Varga had gone straight on, but it was Phil Atherton who goes straight on. And Benny Varga is about to take his 3rd win of the season and once again extend that championship lead. Sam Williams could do nothing about Benny Varga today. Varga wins from Sam Williams in 2nd place. Wolski is going to take a very solid P3 in this one. What a drive from him. Johnson has finished down in 17th. There is still fights happening on the circuit as well, but Wolski to come home for that 17th, for that 3rd place. What a drive!
Did what he did last week.
Yep.
Very quiet. I know Gary put him under some pressure. Very quiet and walks away with a good handful of points again.
Yeah, indeed he does. Peckman has finished the race in P10. We're just waiting for Lino to come to the line now. Decent result from Lino from 15th on the grid. What a drive from him in this one. Been absolutely fantastic to see. Page, bronze winner and a P5 in this one. Absolutely fantastic as well. Brian Craig isn't even at the Forest elbow yet, so we can get some other results in on the timing tower now. So Hunt has finished down in P20. Paul Williams is P12. Wainwright, 13th place. Not a bad comeback from him after his dramas. Gary Leach is probably going to be 14th. Simcoe, 18th place. Decent result for Simcoe there. Taylor, 21st. He'll have a lot to reflect on, I'm sure, at the end of this one. Gary Leach, P14. Not the result he'd have been hoping for. De Block in 15th place. Again, not the result he'd have been wanting. And Dronelander, right at the end, is putting pressure on Brian Craig. One corner to go. Dronelander's now going to try and switch to the inside. He taps the rear of Craig, taps the rear again. Forces Craig deep. I'm sorry, that's a push to pass if I have ever seen one. Dronelander 6th at the line, but I'm sure that'll be looked at. Brian Craig 7th. Malarex nearly got them for P8 and 9. We'll wait to see who joins in the commentary box as all the drivers have finished the race. We can get the final results in a moment. I'm just going to save the highlights for the replays for next week. But Langley, what a Bathurst race that was. A little naughty at the end there from Dronelander.
I think he wasn't happy for the incident that happened just a lap or two ago. But that's still no way to act even when you're not happy about something. But yeah, the mountain provides again, huh? Up and down the mountain, doesn't matter where you look, what happens. I mean, look at these finishing results. It looks like they're all jumbled up from some of the results we've had this year. It's been absolute madness tonight, and yeah, what else do you expect from a place like Bathurst?
Yeah, what else do you expect from a place like Bathurst? It has been absolutely fantastic. I've just missed the final few race results there, so I'm going to try and get them on the screen that I've got in front of me. Side by side. Has anybody joined us yet for a quick little chat? We have got a few of the drivers in for a chat. We've got Wolski Langley. I'm going to mute up and sort the results out, and I'll let you chat with Wolski, who finished P3 in race 2.
Yeah, we'll let the rest of the drivers file in as well, but we'll start with Wolski. And I'll be honest, compared to almost the entire rest of the grid, Wolski, you had a very silent night. But around here, that's a good thing, because that means we didn't see you in a wall. We didn't see door banging with anyone else. You just drove your race, had the pace that you had, and came out with a podium. So a clean race around here is pretty much all you could ask for anyway. So I know Gary put you under a little pressure throughout the race. So how was race 2 overall from your perspective?
Hello everybody. Yes, it was quite silent race. Let's be honest, but I had a very big push from I mean, Gary Leach was pushing me a lot. He was super fast, super quick, and I was like, you know, I was sure I will be down. I will be behind him after the pits, but I came but I came ahead, and I was like, okay, here we go again. And he was super quick as well in the second stint, but then I think he made a mistake. So I don't know. But yeah, my goal was to remain like 80% push, just to not hit the wall, and I managed it. So I'm very happy. Yeah, let's say my strategy was to keep myself in the track, because you know this is Bathurst.
Well, I'll tell you what, you did an outstanding job with that tonight. And what was said before the stream was that pace is one thing, and usually pace matters a lot around other tracks. This track is more about surviving. And
Yeah.
yeah, the epitome of that tonight was what you did, and you got a podium out of it. So, yeah, great job tonight, and another great handful of points. Good consistency. So we
Yeah,
do move on to.
may I add something?
Yeah,
Also,
go on.
big congrats to Benny and Sam. Very good job, very good pace. And also, I would like to I would like to shoot out for every lapped car because they were amazing, very understanding, and I was like, big applause to all of the guys. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem with that. And yeah, it is hard to lap cars around here, especially with the mountain bit. So yeah, great job with that as well. We do move on to our second night race of the season next week around Spa, the famous Spa circuit. So, how do we like Spa? And how are we feeling for next week?
Yeah, Spa is Spa. It will be, let's say, something similar to today, to me, just to manage the pace, because push at Spa is also very dangerous. So yeah, it will be tricky weekend. I hope it will be dry.
Yeah, it is very tricky. The balls probably don't bite as much as around here, but it is a longer circuit in terms of lap time and distance. So, um, shorter race in terms of overall laps, but a very long circuit indeed. And personally, I love it for GT cars. So, yep, great result tonight for yourself. Another podium in the bag, and great consistency. Kept it clean all night. We will see you next week for Spa.
Yeah, thanks guys.
So with that, I think we'll move on to our P2 finisher tonight. Sam.
Hello.
We were talking on stream about it. What was tonight the night to finally get that feature race win? Ultimately, it wasn't, but in the end, it was it was under a second, and yeah, I think it all came down to the start there. I mean, you had absolutely blitzed the field in qualifying. Only driver in the 2-minute ones, albeit the low 2-minute ones. So you absolutely blitzed the field in qualifying. Not to be in the main race too. Not to be in the main race though. Another P2 though, and
Yeah.
I know, even though it's another podium, you probably wanted that win. Still got to be somewhat content with the result tonight.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I mean, second is good. Very happy with that, especially happy with my qualifying as well. But that win just wasn't meant to be tonight. I'm going to stop thinking that tonight's going to be the night, because that doesn't seem to be the trick. I'm going to go in with lower expectations and see how that works out. But no, good race. Start was a bit chaotic, but managed to get out in second again. Closed up, and then I think we were pretty consistent. He was just getting better traction down the straights, opening the gap. I think I was bringing it back over the mountain, and then around the halfway, I think damage and the stress I'd put the tyres under was hindering me a bit. So I was struggling, pitted, and managed to get back onto decent pace. Close the gap again, but I knew I probably couldn't get past him anyway. So, congratulations to Benny. Well driven, well done to Wolski as well on the podium. Wasn't my night.
Well, you can't blame me, because I purposely didn't pick you for that reason. Because I didn't want to be the one for the commentator's card. But still, another podium. We move on to Spa next week, our second night race. Love Spa? Hate Spa? I haven't heard any. Okay, good. I haven't heard too many people that hate Spa. So, how are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, love Spa. Yet to dial the car in properly. But again, it'd just be a case of trying to get my consistency in, because I think my paces will be thereabouts. I just need to get that consistency right. I think that's what made the difference tonight. So that'll be my main focus in practice. But we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it in any case.
Well, I would still say you should.
Sorry, Langley. Can we
Yeah,
just
go
point
ahead.
out as well? After all the contact last season with Taylor, that's 5 weeks in a row they've managed to avoid each other.
We're doing well. We're doing well.
Unbelievable. I guess you have to credit that to the consistency at least.
Yeah, I mean that's.
So yeah, I mean, great job tonight, man. I think your time is coming by the end of the season. At least one will go your way.
I hope so.
Hopefully for your sake it does, but nonetheless, great job tonight. We're gonna move on to our bronze P2 finisher. And actually, I believe this is the first time we've spoken to him this season. He is your current bronze championship leader, Bedison. P2 tonight, a very chaotic race, especially in the middle of the pack. Trying to keep it out of the walls as best you can. Overall, though, P2 consistency got you back up to P2. I did see one point where you could repair the damage in the pits. So, yeah, go ahead and talk us through that second race.
Yeah. Evening. Thank you for having me anyway on the league. Yeah, tonight I'm not really the best at Bathurst. I don't usually race it, but tonight I felt good with the Lexus. I think I could have won that, but I did two silly mistakes. One catching the gravel and spinning at top of the mountain, and just coming up to a back marker and caught the wall, and it just took me over. So Malarax went past me. Overall, I think tonight's been a good race for me. Like I say, I'm not usually a good racer around here.
Well, considering I believe you do extend your championship lead, so it has to be a good night nonetheless. With that being said, nighttime next week at Spa, how are we feeling about that?
We'll see. I'm not a great fan of Spa. I'm not the best either, but I'll give it a go like I do. I'll get some practice in. I have noticed with me doing more practice, I'm getting a bit better. The Lexus is it just really amazing car. It really suits my driving style. I'm not great at braking at the minute, so I've still got to get that sorted. But yeah, Spa, I'll give it a go. See how we go.
Well, nothing to be ashamed of being the bronze championship leader, out with or up in front with a good margin as well. So, great speaking to you tonight. Hopefully more chatting next week. Great job tonight, P2 in the bronze class for race 2.
Thank you very much.
With that being said, yep. With that being said, we'll actually move on as he's popped in to our sprint race winner, Wainwright. Yeah, I'll be honest. Thinking back to the sprint race, that it went by so quick, so quick that it was like you crossed the line to win. I was still looking down the pack for battles because that's how chaotic it was. Because Mount Panorama just always does that. So, but yeah, P1 for yourself.
Yeah.
But under a little pressure from Stothard. But as soon as he made that mistake and dipped into the pits, it seemed like it was clean sailing for you. So yeah, talk us through your first race.
Yeah, it was really, to be honest. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Like, Stothard put me under a lot of pressure in the early laps, but once he was out of the picture, I could just find the rhythm and just bring it home. The gap was big enough, I didn't have to take any risks. And it was just about getting the pit stop right. So, yeah, I was really happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed led pretty much from start to finish anyway. So, I mean, it was a great race for you. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you can talk us through your second race as well. A bit more tricky than your first race, I know that. Just capping off your first race. Great first race. I mean, very consistent, very clean. Yeah, go ahead, talk us through your second race.
Yeah, well, my plan was I knew I couldn't match the pace of the front two. They were miles ahead, but I think Williams had a bit of a rough first lap, so I managed to get ahead. He's got back ahead of me, and I've just completely missed my braking zone and ended up spinning. And it was a bit of a mad 5 minutes after that, to be honest. And then I've ended up in the pits with nearly 2 minutes of damage, and after that, it was just about trying to recover what you can from the race, really. So, truth be told, to get P13 from that first lap, I'm quite happy with, to be honest.
Well, fair enough. And we move on to the night race around the famous Spa circuit. So, how are we feeling about that next week?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. Again, I don't think I'll be the fastest guy there, but I certainly think I can be in the mix. There's no reason I can't get a good result in both races, I don't think.
Well, nonetheless, you pulled out that win in the sprint race, so that's a good bag of a good haul of points for you tonight. So, yeah, great drive tonight. And we will see you next week for Spa.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Now, moving on to the last interview of the night. He has not won since the opening round of the season. He is the first to win a second feature race this year. He is your current championship leader in the Pro-Am. Benny, it is your second win of the season for your feature race and the first to do so. Consistency like you've had all season. We're used to speaking with you on the podium now. But back on that top step for the feature race and sprint race even, so it's your third overall win. So first time speaking to you again since on the top step since Oulton Park. How was your race tonight?
Well, race 2 was went in the way I really wanted to, but hats off to Sam because he was keeping me under pressure the whole time. So I don't think I could say it was a comfortable race win. I think I was checking the gap between me and him like 10 times a lap, and yeah, so he really put me under pressure.
Yeah, and do you think getting ahead at the start there was the critical part in staying ahead, really?
Yeah, really, that was the most critical point. As you see in qualifying, he put together an amazing lap, and I was trying to get close to it, but I couldn't. But when I noticed that, okay, I was P2, then I decided that it's a now or never take. So I was really taking my start seriously, and thankfully it paid off. So yeah, really, I could really extend my lead over the chaos it was going on in the first lap, because I could build up a gap. But he was closing in at times, so I couldn't really get comfortable, so really hats off to him.
Well, a bit trickier in the first race as well. Some damage we saw. How did that? You usually pit on the first lap for race 1. You did again, but just not as clean this time.
Yeah, because in the opening lap there was chaos as expected, and I was caught up in a
park.
I was caught up in a pile-up, so I've got hits from front and behind, so I managed to put together almost a minute of worth of damage. So, but I decided to not repair it because I thought I would lose even more if I was standing in the pit lane for over a minute. So I really just gambled there. As you could see, like I didn't have straight line spin, so I was losing out big time. But I'm still glad that I could bring it home in a relatively good position. So I think I can say that I maximized points yet again here.
Yeah, you got a P12 in race 1 and P1 in race 2, so made up for that race 1 anyway. I had mentioned at the beginning of the night that I don't think there has been a race this season where Matt and I have said that your championship lead got cut down. funny enough, after the sprint race, it did. And then second race, you decided that's not going to be a trending theme. So, yeah, you turned it right around in that second race. Hats off to yourself. And
yeah, thank you for all. Also, the Auto 3 and like Wolski stated that also big hats off for the lap drivers, because really it's not easy to lap someone at this track, because you know it's Bathurst, and yeah, obviously I was flashing like crazy the whole time because I was scared of Sam, but really hats off to them, because they all knew what was up, so yeah, it was really respectable.
yeah, and real quick, we're moving on to Spa next week at night, so how are we feeling about that one?
Well, Spa is a track I also really love, so I expect myself in a good position there. But obviously it will be at night, and thanks to it's the GT kind of layout, Oruj will be the first corner, so I expect chaos at the sprint race, which I will try to avoid. And also it will be an interesting race, I think, for the future, because it has a really long pit lane, so picking up a good strategy will be essential at that race, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, nonetheless, I mean, another clinical drive tonight, extending your championship lead overall. With that, I'm going to pass it back over to Matt to close things off.
Yep, and Benny Varga has extended that championship lead, like you said, but it is shorter than what it was going into Bathurst. It is only 117 points to Lino. Lino with massive damage limitations at the end there. So Varga from Lino. Williams stays in third place, but he's 152 points behind. He's gained on Lino in that one to close the gap. Wolski stays in fourth, 188 points off the back of Benny Varga. Then comes Unsworth after drop score, stays in fifth place, just ahead of Gabino. Dronelander moves into seventh with the block eighth. Gary Leach is ninth. Kieran Argent back into the top 10 after his drop score. Steve Millington up into 11th after, I believe, his drop score also. So a lot of drop scores taken tonight, which has really affected this championship table. Andrew Taylor is 12th. After that one, Hunt 11th from Brian Craig, Peckman, Jamie Lee, Paul Williams, Sam Greaves, Neil Broom, Michael Johnson, Stothard, Wainwright, Oldsim, Flores, Waste, Davis and Cummins. In your bronze championship, Bettison extends his lead to 101 points over Malarex, who moves into second place. Sturrock P3, who messaged me, was having lag issues and couldn't see drivers. They was teleporting all over the track, so that's why he disconnected from the race. It was distracting him, and hence the mistakes, he was what he said. He's third, took us up to fourth. Best back up into fifth after his drop score from Privet. Then it is Atherton, Smith, Page, Simcoe, Cherry Moore. And in the team's championship, well, with 4 weeks left to go, 105 points separate Audio Sport from SimPlay Racing, with 4Q, 272 behind Audio Sport. So really now Audio Sport have one hand on that trophy. Lot to play for though, with 1,324 points still up for grabs. Real Time Racing 305 behind, Sodor Racing P5 311 behind, Quantum Motorsport P6, Team Merlot P7 from Greasy Bandits Racing, Black and Blue Racing, Team Aspire, Balkan Sim Hub, SC Racing, Bearded Racing, Billy No Mates, and then the Pages Racing team. What a night Bathurst has provided. Driver of the day went to other, but there was no comments of who other was, so then it will go to the second most voted driver of Dronelander in the chat. Langley, bronze and silver driver of the day,
please. Silver's hard. Bronze is easy. Page, I'll give it a Page. Well, very good drive considering it to be the first appearance. So not only just bronze. Not only just the bronze winner today, but overall a great drive from him. Silver. I think Craig had a very good day compared to what he's some of the results he's had this season. So I'll go ahead and give it to Craig.
Yeah, I'm going Brian Craig and Alex Page as well for the drivers of the day in bronze and silver. We head to Spa, the Ardennes Forest in Belgium of Spa-Francorchamps for week number 7, rounds 13 and 14. Championships coming down to the wire now, and every championship in Pro-Am has a 100-point or more lead. Benny Varga, Richard Bettison, and Audio Sport really looking like they could be wrapped up pretty early, but we'll wait and see what happens in the second and final night race of the season, leaving the final 3 weeks pure midday races of COTA, Donington Park, and I can't remember the other one left on the calendar. Langley won't be with us next week, sadly. It's Thanksgiving in America. He'll be travelling down to his family's for the holidays in the US, so it'll be me in the commentary box next week. But what a night it has been at Bathurst. Join me and Kelly Davies live, where hopefully the technical issues will have sorted themselves out. I've been reassured by my internet provider that it will all be sorted in the morning, so touch wood on that one. If not, we'll try and bring you as best broadcast as we possibly can. But Wainwright and Varga, your winners in silver. Page double win in bronze on debut. What a night here in Australia. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.